Good people of the internet, I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce to you our newest Call of Cthulhu keeper here on the channel, the talented, the twisted Tim Judd. Tonight, Tim is going to tell us a scary story. The story of the Foulness Island Vanishings. And it starts like this. On mute. You have no audio.
Good evening, gentle listeners. There you are. My dearest, you may be a trifle bored with these letters from your dear aunt, old auntie, but I do relish the anticipation of reading your return mail. The weather has been quite dreadful here, and I've spent a good deal of time in my room, the George and the Dragon. At night, the downstairs area can become a wee bit loud with the loathsome or bothersome for this tired old dame. There are a few interesting folk staying here, including an archaeologist, an ornithologist. I have shared a meal with both of them, a white lady and a chap. I've decided to visit St. Abigail's Church yesterday, which is here in Church End. But the vicar has apparently disappeared. Rumors say he was most likely lost at sea on an ill-thought journey across the Broomway, that terribly dangerous path that leads to the mainland. No one seems too upset. It would appear that the vicar was fairly new to the parish. The previous one had passed away after serving much of his life here. I heard from the archaeologist that there are some good ruins on the island, venerable Stone Age predating venerable stones predating the Roman invasion. I intend to visit these once the weather is cleared. That is, if I can procure myself a sturdy young guide or perhaps a carriage from one of the local farms. Oh, before I forget, I have met the lord of the manor, a dashing gentleman by the name of Sir Thomas Culbert. He has invited me to tea one afternoon at his manor house, and as soon as the blasted weather clears, I will be considering taking him up on his offer. Farewell, my dear. I look forward with anticipation to your reply. Yours, Miss Lydia Bacon Cowith.
The Broomway to Foulness by M.D. Wales. If one consults a map of the Essex coastline between the River Thames and the River Crouch, one will notice a curious footpath. The route is even more curious and is marked with a line of crosses and dashes. These and the footpath begin at a place named Wakering Stairs, which is located in the village of Great Wakering, a quiet, sleepy town which this reporter had the pleasure of staying at for 2 nights. The path heads due east from Wakering Stairs, straight towards the ocean. One might, in fact, be of the suspicion that it ends in the ocean, but after several hundred yards, the path turns northeast and runs offshore for some miles before it turns back towards the mainland, taking the intrepid traveler towards Lamb's Fall and the Fisherman's Head. This I hazard to call a dock, port, for it is little more than a low-lying sand. It is, however, the stopping point to a secluded little-known island named Foulness. The path to the island is named the Broomway, known in infamy as the deadliest path in Britain. In this writer's experience, it would most certainly be dangerous for one who doesn't have his wits about him. It is thought the Broomway has taken more than 100 lives, though it is likely many more have gone where no record exists. Over half the known victims may be found in the churchyard of St. Abigail's. This writer wonders how many dozens or perhaps hundreds more poor folk became unwilling offerings to the ocean. The Broomway takes its name, fantastical as it may seem, from 400 brooms placed at intervals along the footpath which mark the safest passage to take. Yet despite these markers, if a thick fog is present, one could easily lose one's bearings and end up in the sand dunes and mudflats lining the footpath. At low tide, one feels quite safe. However, it is rather like a walk upon the beach. When high tide comes, as many unwearing would attest, had they survived. The ocean consumes the sand and the broomway so quickly, and even an experienced runner would likely be doomed. There's much danger there. Muddy holes and quicksand, which could swallow a traveler in seconds. Come doomsday, this writer suspects many souls will climb up from those dunes, dust off their sand-written garments. I shall end this piece with a warning, which I heeded. Read from a recent Ordnance Survey map, printed in large pink letters across that stretch of coastline. One will find the following message. Warning, public rights of way across the broomway can be deadly. Seek local guidance. Should I continue to the next article, Game Runner?
Tommie can. Yep.
Okay. Strange Lights on a Strange Island by Jonathan Wellman. A weird phenomenon has been reported at the secluded site of Foulness. For some weeks now, locals have witnessed what they describe as glowing lights following the coast near Foulness Point. The island, which is a part of Essex and located along the east coast, is separated by the mainland by bogs and rivers and such, has little contact with the outside world. The strange tale reached the mainland by route of the postman, who visits the island once a day. It was circulated amongst other postal workers until it reached the ear of this reporter. Rather than make the trip to Foulness, which is downright treacherous, this reporter succeeded in speaking with the island's lord of the manor, one Sir Thomas Culvert. During his visit to the mainland, an avid amateur scientist, he was on the mainland for supplies. The Honorable Sir told this reporter that as an astronomer of no little experience, he has on occasion to watch the sky nightly. He supposes any lights the villagers witnessed are most likely sourced from misidentified ships at sea, or perhaps boats traversing the River Crouch, which borders the island before reaching the sea of Foulness Point. Sir Culvert insinuated in a more jovial tone, the lights would be less mysterious if the folks who witnessed them had not had a tipple at the George and Dragon public house beforehand. Strange indeed are the things men witness deep within their cups.
The wind howls, rattling through the skeletal trees that line the lonely Essex coast. The sky, thick with low-hanging clouds, broods above you as the small, weather-worn ferry sways against the dock. The sea churns with an unnatural rhythm, as if whispering something only it can understand. Salt and damp cling to the wooden planks beneath your feet, and the scent of brine and distant decay fills the air. This is the last tether to the mainland, the last moment before you leave familiar ground and cross into something else. Ahead lies Foulness Island, a desolate stretch of marshland, sandbanks, and crumbling villages. Cut off from the world by the tides and time itself. The people here, those few who remain, do not welcome outsiders. Their world is small, tight-lipped, bound by superstition and a long history of things best left forgotten. The Broomway, a shifting, treacherous causeway of silt and quicksand, has claimed countless lives. The wind carries stories of vanished strangers, whispers of eerie lights above the water, and an unshakable sense that something lurks beneath the island's sodden soil. And yet, for your own reasons, you've chosen to come here. Now, as the ferry rocks gently against the dock, you step aboard, joining a handful of others who, like you, have business on this forgotten island. Strangers for now, but not for long. A man in a battered trench coat lights a cigarette. shielding the flame from the wind with calloused fingers. His pale blue eyes scan the ferry's passengers with the quiet wariness of someone who has spent too many nights in dark alleys and cheap motels. He's seen his fair share of the rotten and the ruined. But there's something about Foulness Island that makes his gut twist. Maybe it's the case he's on. Or maybe it's just a bad feeling. Jason, if you want to go ahead and introduce your character.
Well, I never really intended to be a detective. I was going to work for the Metropolitan Police before I realized the whole thing was tits up. And then that goddamn war, well, that war came along and took everything from me. It took her away from me. What it left behind was a man, he knows how to get down to the truth, even when people don't want him to find it. I've chased down every case, every kind of case, from cheating old wives to, well, racketeers. But every now and again, there's a story that comes along that just won't let you sleep. And this is such a story. So it's brought this broad-shouldered Brit in his early 40s, though his eyes share lots of careworn creases. He's in just a tattered coat that one would wonder if he was a successful detective, perhaps he could afford a new one. Proper dress shirt and tie beneath. The hands of a workman, a bit rough. And he's got his eye on each of you, I suppose.
Standing near the railing, a man in a well-worn academic coat flips through a leather-bound notebook, lips moving silently as he reads. His fingers, stained with ink, grip the pages tightly as though the words within might slip through his grasp. He tells himself this is just another archaeological site, another forgotten chapter of history to uncover. But the deeper he's dug into the records, the less sure he is that this place should be uncovered at all. Tommie, if you want to go ahead and introduce your character.
Dr. Sinclair is a rather pale, thin man with round spectacles, whose life has been devoted to academia. No time for trivial pursuits such as dating or marriage or family. It was time for that nonsense. He is solely pursues the intellectual and the academic. He's been drawn to Foulness Island after reading about the mysterious lights and his suspicion that he may indeed find evidence of the lost island of Lemuria. So he's here investigating that at this time.
At the stern, a man with a soldier's posture adjusts his coat against the wind, eyes fixed on the water like he's expecting an enemy to rise from it. His features are hard, chiseled by war and the weight of orders long since given. He has read the reports, deciphered the classified files, and knows there are questions the government would rather leave unanswered. That's why he's here. Because something on this island was buried, not just physically, but bureaucratically. And he intends to dig it up. Dan, would you like to go ahead and introduce your character?
Sternly I stand, Captain Alistair Hargreaves, eyes squinting against the biting wind as memories of the war drift uncomfortably close. British intelligence? Retired. That's what the papers say anyway. I spent the war hunting shadows, chasing spies, hidden in plain sight, and overseeing operations no one was ever meant to know about. But it's the mission they wouldn't let me finish that still keeps me awake at night. Colonel Mercer, my commanding officer, vanished without explanation during an operation wrapped in secrecy. Every attempt I make to uncover the truth has been met with silence, redacted files, bureaucratic dead ends, the French, until now. I have found a single coded message that led me here to Foulness Island, forgotten outpost obscured behind layers of government denial and secrecy, and I am convinced that something darker than mere wartime secrets lies buried on this island. I don't believe in ghosts or fairy tales, but I know a cover-up when I see one, and I've seen them far too often. And with that, he steps back to the rail.
By the ferry's small cabin, a tall, thin man clutches the handle of his worn leather case, his clerical collar barely visible beneath his overcoat. He looks out over the rolling sea, lips pressed into a firm line, eyes lost in thought. There are things a man of faith should not see. Things that make the scriptures seem pale and feeble, but family is family, and Aunt Lydia was never one to scare easily. So why did her letter suddenly stop? Why does he feel as though he's stepping into something that will test his faith more than war, more than grief, more than anything? Thorg, if you want to go ahead.
You did a great job, buddy. Yeah, he sits kind of hunched by himself over thumbing a small, like, silver crucifix. It's worn pretty smooth. It was kind of like from his time in North Ireland, it's kind of his worry stone, if you will. So it's definitely smooth, polished from where he constantly is thumbing it with his hands. It's got a stern, piercing look, but not too many people would expect to see a priest with a 1,000-yard stare. He's seen things during the bombings that didn't make sense, and then he made some subsequent journeys with some of the British Army into the mainland and collected some items, and then now his aunt's missing, so he needs to figure out where she's gone. What's wrong with her?
As the ferry pulls away from the mainland, the few passengers settle in for their journey ahead. The water stretches endlessly in every direction, cold and uncaring. The mist curling along its surface like grasping fingers. It'll be another half hour before you arrive at the island, before you step foot on Foulness and whatever waits you there. Use this time to speak to one another. Long ferry ride with nothing but the waves and wind makes for an easy conversation. How did you notice one another? What did you pick up about your fellow travelers? And what, if anything, do you share about why you're bound for this lonely, lonely place?
Well, I'd have to say that old Hargreaves caught my attention. I think he's one to talk a bit about his past in the military, and some others talk about lights as well. It's interesting to me. I'd be curious, Alistair, if I may call you Alistair. Do you know anything about a Harold Fraser Snipe, perhaps? Have you heard the name?
Snipe, you say?
No?
Yes, the name is familiar to me. What do you know about Snipe?
I know he's gone. Without a trace. He just disappeared. Police had no interest, which is very strange, don't you think? I mean, he wasn't a man of means, but if a bloke just disappears without an explosion or a bullet, I consider that right odd.
I agree. Harold Fraser Snipe. The name is sprinkled throughout government files, heavily redacted, restricted. I feel frustration even at the recollection. Digging through message after message, black line after black line. But I know he was once on this island, if that's what you're asking.
Huh. Yeah, sort of. Tell me more about these government files. You had access to them, eh?
Look, is it just the four of us here? 5? 4. Very well. It seems as if this is quite enough distance. Do I see anyone else about? Oh, Game Master?
Yeah, the only other people on this are yourselves and the person who's piloting the ferry.
Yes, Snipe was listed in the same wartime documents as my commanding officer, Mercer. His connection to the operation unfortunately remains unclear. The final clue, though, that drew me here came in the form of a fragmented coded message hidden in an old military dossier referencing Foulness Island and an abandoned wartime experiment that, according to the documents and the way I read between the lines, is meant to stay buried. So, as best I know, somehow he was connected to my old commanding officer, Mercer, perhaps stationed here. I do not even know if he was military or civilian, but I know he was here, and I know someone's trying to cover it up.
Well, I'd have to say this mention of experiments, sort of, I'm a thinking man as well, but there's a thinking man here that I bet could help. Did you say you were a doctor, Sinclair? Is that right?
Can't hear you.
I'm an archaeologist.
Oh. So you don't do much in the way of experiments, eh? Pity.
No, I'm not that sort of a doctor. I can't fix a broken leg or anything like that. But I can tell you if your grandmother's teapot's an antique.
Well, certainly is. You ever heard of the name Fraser Snipe?
I'm trying to think if my professor, Alistair Kent, ever mentioned that name, but doesn't seem familiar. Or does it, Game Master? Doesn't seem familiar. I don't recall it.
So what brings you to the island then?
My professor and mentor vanished here not so long ago. He'd kind of, I believe, gone a little bit off his rocker. Sent me all sorts of strange messages, and then nothing. So I've come to investigate to see if I can find out or even maybe continue his research.
Well, I'll be. When did he disappear? Roundabout.
1938, so that would have been, 2 years ago, I believe? 2 or 3 years ago, yeah. It's not like him. He's a very regular chap, he lives by his stopwatch. I'm not sure.
So I wonder what time of year in 1938. You happen to know what month?
Do I know what month? Game Master? I don't see it.
It's not particularly clear. Latter in the year.
December. Vanished in December, just before Christmas. Very, very odd. His wife was quite beside herself.
What did you say his name was again? I'm writing in this, I guess you'd notice this awful shorthand that looks like it might be Chinese or something in the back of this moleskin leather book.
Well, it's definitely not Chinese. But Professor Alistair Kent.
And what year was that?
1938, December.
38. Interesting. I know that the operations Dusk Bridge was an operation took place in the island they were assigned to it. I know that was referenced in the file as 1939, although the files I saw were actually dated March of 1943.
That's very odd.
Interesting
Very
you say
improper
38.
And what year, Tim, was it 1940 that Fraser Snipe disappeared or no? It was. Okay.
Yeah.
And yours, what'd you just say, Dan? Was who? When?
Well, Operation Dusk Bridge itself, the report itself was dated March 4th, 1943. But the actual file reference was DSO-4/1939, which means that it was originally dated in 1939. So I take it that the original disappearance may have occurred in the year of 39 itself, and that later this redacted copy that I saw was created in 43. I could be mistaken on these accounts.
I think there's, at this moment, just kind of chuckling. Next thing we're going to know, the vicar over there is going to say that he had someone go missing I kind of laugh and take a pull from my flask. Ha ha ha. You
Can't hear
muted.
you.
No, he just kind of snaps out of it, like he just uncomfortable on the boat. Well, my auntie hasn't written back in a while.
Oh, for God's sake, you've got to be kidding me. When was the last time you heard from her then?
Good question. I don't know the date there, GM, how long it's been.
Since what? Sorry, I was responding
Since
to
the last time I heard from.
Yeah, it had been. Let me see the date.
I don't have a date on mine.
I know. Give me 1 second here.
No, you did. You did.
So did you come here to bless the island then?
Well, I'm also looking to St. Mary's Church. Or not St. Mary's Church, the church on the island. The vicar disappeared too, apparently.
Wait a minute now. You've got to be kidding me. Did he just leave his post?
They claim that he went for a walk down the, what do they call it? The little isthmus that connects the island to the mainland.
The broom walk.
Yeah, there we go. That one. Yeah.
You're all right. You look a bit pale.
I don't like boats.
You've come to the
2
wrong
weeks
place.
ago. 2 weeks ago. Reverend. You received it about 3 weeks ago, and about 2 weeks ago the letter stopped.
He writes a lot.
It is interesting that a lifelong resident of the island would go missing on the broom walk. You would think the father would know his way around.
He was newish.
There's really not much to learn about that island, though, is
Previous
there?
vicar had been on the island most of his life, but this one I think was more new.
Oh, this is the new vicar.
Was.
Well, he's only missing. They haven't found a body yet, correct?
Well, what happened to the one before him? Did he up and leave as well?
He'd been there a while, apparently. So no, I think he's just old age.
Oh, he went the good way then.
But anyway, yeah. But I don't know about my aunt. She's been ill. So
Well,
hey,
Well,
Was
I hope you
God
find
willing,
her in
she'll
good
be-
health.
yeah.
Was someone sent around to look after her to see if she's at home or ill or she's just gone?
She's visiting, so once we'll
Okay.
check in at the inn. The
Okay.
George and Dragon.
George and the Dragon. Interesting.
Left the saint off it, which is a little weird.
So two of us are looking for Snipe, one for our aunt, and forgive me, Doctor, you were looking for...
Alistair, my late mentor, missing mentor, Alistair Kent.
Kent.
wait a minute then. Noting in my book. Military folks, all of these? Looking around at each of you.
I don't know Kent. I was thinking about that, but nothing comes to mind.
I was
What
afraid.
was Kent doing here?
He was purely an academic. He certainly wouldn't have been in the military. He's not the physical sort. But yeah, he's more of a bookish fellow.
A bookish fellow?
Researching- Yeah.
Does he study mud? Why would he come to this place?
He believed there was some interesting archaeological evidence here. His letters were quite cryptic, almost as if he was afraid.
Archaeological evidence in 38. The timing is interesting. I wonder if it could be related to the operation that was taking place here at the time, the Dusk Bridge.
Tell us more about this dust bridge.
Oh, if only I could.
Well, here, have some of this. And I pass over my flask.
Oh, well, in that case, thank you. Yes, it's
the
like I said,
finest. It's the
frustrating.
finest whiskey that 10 pence could buy.
I tell you, trying to find out about what's gone on here has been more difficult than dealing with the French. It's been impossible. I've tried everything, but I have told you most of what I've learned. That's why I'm here. Otherwise, I never would have bothered to come on my own. But like I said, Edwin Mercer has disappeared here, and Fraser Snipe was with him. I don't know about any archaeological dig, but I only know that there was a special operation Dusk Bridge. I can tell you that there was explicit command. As a precaution, all associated personnel were advised to avoid civilian inquiry into events of redacted and continue to monitor the subject conducted through auxiliary channels, and then boom, it's done. It's over. Everything of importance has been marked out.
That's interesting.
It is. If I had redacted the damn thing, I would have done the whole document. Why leave breadcrumbs? It allowed me to get to here. Of course, it did occur to me it might be a trap. So, I'll just warn you, gentlemen, as I lift back my coat, you see a very worn revolver in a very worn holster. It looks like it's seen a lot of action over many years. I would not be surprised if the reason I found my way here was that someone intended for anyone who got this far to walk into a trap.
Well, who would set such a trap on a deserted island, or nearly deserted island?
You know, I knew that I probably wouldn't be here, would I? But it's a good question, Doctor.
Interesting.
I can
You
tell
guys-
you.
Go
Sorry.
ahead. No, please go ahead.
Oh, just that it was sealed under Section 17 of the National Security Act. That no further investigation will be authorized without explicit command approval. So basically, the government has completely shut this down.
Because of they're all a bunch of corrupt wankers, aren't they?
That and some academic mud studiers, apparently.
I beg your pardon.
No offense intended. So.
I didn't take personal.
Something makes me
Lydia
feel
did say
like
that there was an archaeologist on the island and a bird watcher.
An archaeologist and a birdwatcher. The same or
No,
two different people?
Together, two different people.
The
Two different
archaeologist could have been my mentor.
She didn't mention the name.
Do I remember Mercer being a birdwatcher?
No, not at all.
Ornithologist. We could be more clear. Not just a weekend bird watcher.
Professional poultry. I like it.
huh.
See?
I look towards the coast. How close are we to the island?
So happy you asked that. In fact, you're nearing it. You can hear the ferryman ring the bell a few times as you near a small pier with a few fishing boats nearby. There's some huts on a sand beach, probably used by local fishermen. There are some steps that lead from the seawall to the island's grasslands as well. The air smells of, like I said, salt and decay. There's a distant scent of something maybe metallic. The island's eerily quiet. There's no bustling port here. There's no signs of welcoming islanders when you arrive. The seawall and the stone steps feel old and weathered and rarely maintained. There's a fisherman who's cleaning his nets. There's the ferryman, of course, who jumps off the boat as it gets close enough and starts to pull it in, water splashing about him. And you see an older man come out of one of the huts after the bell rings a few times. Stout guy, thick white beard. He's got those fisherman oh shoot, what are they called? The thing the fishermen wear, fly fishermen that go up to their waist, kind of waders.
Waiters, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's got kind of a battered fisherman's hat. And he walks out of his home, and you see him take his pipe and his Zippo. And then he starts to walk towards your guys' dock and starts to help pull it in as he continues smoking his pipe hanging out of his mouth.
Vicar doesn't take any. He gets off the boat as fast as possible. The entire time, just rubbing his cross. Just needs to get off the boat. Then once he gets to the pier, off onto the dock or whatever, he's just like gripping the railing and just taking a deep breath before he kind of straightens himself out, and starts to look around.
Oh, welcome to Foulness, he says to you.
Dr. Sinclair is quite green. He's not very physically strong sort, and that rocking boat was a bit much. Not he's afraid of it, he's just nauseous. So he gets off the boat following the vicar.
You guys see Alistair look to his left and look to his right, and slowly he takes the longest route off the boat, circuitously working his way around the backside of the deck and along all the entranceways, looking just ever so slightly, if you were looking at him, to see if anyone might also be aboard this ship. Once thoroughly satisfied that there is no one else, do you want me to make a spot check?
Nope.
Alistair steps onto the dock and makes sure that only the ocean is behind him.
Well, it's not just the ocean, because I'm leaned against a crate, smoking my ever-present cigarette and watching exactly what you're doing on this boat. You know an awful lot. Your story seems to check out, but I'm not so sure. So, you won't be going very far that I'm not right behind you. Ah, did you forget something in your room then, as you step off?
And you know, as you watch me, that you know I'm watching you, watching me, watching you.
I'm about to play some violin music.
I was totally going there.
As you get off, I give you a little nod. You just notice that Alistair is in the habit of not trying to let anyone get behind him or allow any sneaky folks to like pop up from the bushes, as if somehow this has happened to him before.
Y'all don't look like you're from here. Like to welcome you. Not much of a welcoming party, I'm afraid. Name's Jim.
Fun enough, Jim. Nice
The harbor master of this here place. Pleasure to meet you too.
Harbor master Jim.
Yeah.
The harbor master. How many vessels could fit in this little, like, what, one or two, maybe?
Like a few, yeah.
It's a fleet, so it can fit a fleet, if one were so desirous. But harbor master Jim, can you tell me, any other visitors come to the island, say, these last couple of weeks?
Over the last couple of weeks, you say?
Yes. Let's start there.
No, not particularly. Not many folk come out this way. Last visitors we had were several weeks ago. Listen, why don't you come on inside, have a nice cup of tea, and we can all get to know each other, unless you're in a hurry.
Cup of tea sounds quite nice.
Yes, and maybe you could tell us about these most recent visitors. Are they still on the island?
You know, they were on the island, but I am afraid to say I think they got swept up in the Broomway.
I see.
Seems like there's a bit of that going on.
It's a dangerous stretch.
What about these other disappearances? They all down around the Broomway as well? Or?
I assume so, unless we've got some sort of serial madmen running around.
He kind of he smirks, and I'm just staring dead at him. There's no laughter. It's yeah, unless you do, huh?
Hmm.
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 Yeah, the good news is we don't. But the sea, she claims who she wants, when she wants.
Hmm.
And that Broomway, mind yourself, very dangerous place. Don't go walking out on it. Things can change right fast. Anyways, right over here's my home. You're welcome to it.
How far is the Georgian Dragon?
Oh, it's maybe about 5 miles up the road.
Hmm.
A lot bigger island than I thought it'd be.
Yeah, you'll pass by Church End. You'll pass by the New House farm before you get to Courtson. That's where you'll find the inn.
I'll follow Harbor Master Jim to his abode.
Yeah. Get some tea.
The first thing you're greeted with when you walk inside is that the place isn't like super like pristinely clean or anything like that. It's
shocked.
like it's like an older gentleman's bachelor pad who hasn't had to worry about too much for some time. You are secondly hit by the very strong scent of Virginia tobacco that lingers in the air residually from how much he smokes his pipe. Um,
Reminds me of those soldiers from Bastogne. I take a seat, assuming there is one.
Yeah, there are. There's a few seats. He's got like a worn down couch and a couple chairs, and there's a little dining room table with a couple chairs at it as well.
Tell me, Harbor Master Jim, have you lived on this island your whole life?
Yep, I sure have.
So you were here in 38 and 39.
Yep, that's my whole life. Not 38 or 39 before that, but yes, including that.
Do you recall some military gentlemen here during the war, say around 38, 39?
Oh, well, sure, people come and go over the years. There's the old fort out at the tip of the island. So, they're ruins now, of course, but maybe they were interested in that.
Oh, so there were military folks. Do you remember, was it, say, 100 or, say, 3 that came?
Oh, just a couple.
Just a couple, you say? I see.
Yep.
Do I have a picture of my old commander?
You do.
I whip out the picture. See, do you remember this gentleman?
Oh, yeah, I pulled the ferry up with him on it. Nice enough fella. Seemed down to business.
I see. When's the last time you saw this fellow?
Oh. He left not long after that.
To go to the ford, you said?
Well, he went there and left the island. Only a matter of a few days later.
Oh, so he took the ferry from the island?
Yes.
I see. Was he by himself?
Come to think of it, he was.
Interesting.
You think something strange is happening?
Can I make a roll to see if I believe him? I don't know what to roll.
Psychology.
Sure. You can just give me a straight up psychology roll. And Jason, if you can drop the handout off the screen, that'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh shit. Sorry. Yeah.
You're fine.
As he's talking, I'm looking around the room, kind of stir my honey into my tea and admiring but observing.
You see some local fishermen's catches mounted to the wall. None of them sing, which is good, but they certainly he seems to take pride in himself as a fisherman. He's got a wall of different knots and their labels and whatnot as well. Very nautical themed, I guess, if there were to be a theme. How do we do?
I failed. I know he's
remember,
lying to me. I just don't know why.
remember, on a psychology roll, if you fail, I may tell you the truth. I may not tell you the truth. But he seems to be just a pretty straightforward fella.
Sure. Do I notice that does he hesitate at all? Like, is there any tells that, like, when he's making the tea, he pauses for a second?
No, he seems to be pretty friendly, actually. Doesn't seem to be, the stories of outsiders being unwelcome and stuff like that are probably a little overblown, judging by this fella at least. He seems to be hospitable to you guys being there.
Well, I'll tell you, Jim, Harbor Master, that gentleman is Colonel Edwin Mercer. After he arrived at this island, he was never seen anywhere else ever again.
Well, he was seen leaving. He didn't just disappear, eh?
Right.
I have to say, you are now the last soul that I'm aware of who ever saw that man alive. Interesting.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I'm mighty sorry for that. I'm sure there are others on the other side that have seen him.
Would it be possible to make a spot hidden to see if I notice anything unusual?
No need. There's nothing really to notice here.
Boring old shack. Got you.
Interesting. And he was by himself. How long did he stay on the island?
Just a matter of 3 to 5 days.
Went to the ford, you said.
Right.
Came back.
As far as I know.
This ferry and went
That's right.
back to the mainland.
That's right. You can see the ferry is starting to pull away.
Fascinating.
That's pretty much all I've been doing. It's just staring out the window at it as it's starting to pull away. Well, gentlemen,
What?
when you're done interrogating, I really much would like to get to Church End.
Well, we haven't even had our tea yet. And I have to ask Jim Harbormaster about Mr. Harold Fraser Snipe. Does he seem to react at all when I say that name?
He does not react to the name Harold Fraser Snipe.
And do you recall him coming and going from the island?
Can't say I do. I don't make a point of asking everybody's name. But he could have.
Fair enough. And unfortunately, I look over at Jason. Sorry, what's your character's name?
Frank.
Frank. It's not, if you want to put on there, I'm sorry, I'm terrible with memory, but Frank,
Oh, shit.
you wouldn't happen to have a photo of Snipe, would you?
So, Tim, would I?
You do not have a photo of Snipe.
Unfortunately, I don't. He was a friend of the family. Sorry.
I see.
Is he gone missing too?
Oh, he has. I'd describe him in some level of detail, you know. Was there anything particularly remarkable about him? Other than military guy, clean cut sort of thing.
I just describe it to him. I don't recall seeing anybody like that, to be fair. He disappeared. Probably claimed by the Broomway. It's unfortunate. But you do note that his lack of memory about Fraser Snipe is notable. Alistair gets the feeling like it's legitimate, like he's not trying to hide something from you. Whether or not the rest of you believe that is up to you. You also get the idea that the Broomway seems to be kind of a common local excuse for missing people.
Oh yes, get that. Definitely get that. Alistair's actually working on the theory that perhaps Snipe disguised himself to look like Colonel Edwin Mercer, left the island as him in order to cover both his trail and the others. But of course, this poor man, Jim the Harbor Master, would never have seen through such a nefarious act. But I assume, of course, Jim is innocent. Well, I have to say, Jim, this is quite delicious tea. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. It's not a lot else to do out here, I suppose. Listen, I heard you're headed up to Church End, is that right?
We got to get the Green Victor to,
What brought you guys here, you folks, anyways?
Well, same as others, searching for someone who's mysteriously gone missing.
Damn.
So
And
a
you,
lot of
Father? Are you here to replace the vicar?
No, but I will go up there. No, I'm looking for my aunt.
Your
She
aunt?
came out. She came out about 3 weeks ago.
What does she look like?
Lucinda, older lady, and small, kind of walks with a cane.
Oh yes. Lydia, I think her name is.
Yes.
I met her once when she arrived via boat here at the ferry. She's a grand lady. Didn't talk to her a whole lot.
That's amazing. I'm surprised you got away without getting an earful.
Well, everybody has their own quirks, I suppose.
Yeah. She was tired of London, so maybe she just wanted some quiet.
Yeah, this is a place you'll find quiet, that's for certain.
It is nice.
So do people often get, swept off the broomway? Like, how do they, what happens? They fall in? Does a wave catch them? A tide?
Any number of things. Sometimes, the sand and silt along the broomway, which, by the way, is pictured behind me here in the thing. It has a tendency to give way, kind of like a quicksand or something to that effect. Sometimes people get stuck in it. Tide comes up, problematic. Sometimes the fog rolls through. People don't see the tide coming. Before long, the current sweeps them away. It's hard to find folks after it's done, but unfortunate nonetheless. It's fine when the tide's low, and but I wouldn't recommend it, especially to newcomers.
Game Master, given my knowledge of archaeology, I would assume there's a tiny bit of geology knowledge as well, since he's been on digs. Does that sound about right? Something that could possibly happen? Silt and all that?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Sand deposits and stuff like that, making this land bridge. Yeah, absolutely.
So the story doesn't sound fishy at all. Fishy.
Ba-bum-bum.
Can I clarify, what year is it?
It's 1941. I made an error on that 1943 document.
Oh, okay.
So that was an
so
error.
the war's still on. I'm so sorry. I was understanding that we were like done with the war. Okay.
The war's still
right.
happening.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that document is off. All right. So it happened. I only picked up the 38 because it was on the top of the document, a little margin there. So this is 41. And so it's only been like 3 years since this.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
If I knew the war was still on, I wouldn't be.
That's why the vicar was nervous,
You're
because he was
fine.
on the boats getting out of Dunkirk. He did not want to be on another boat.
Yeah, you're fine. This guy's no threat, right?
Sure.
Right?
Well, yeah.
Wow.
I don't trust fishermen in this game, but let's roll.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
But you have large, watery eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Great.
Well, folks, if you have more questions about anything or need any directions, let me know. I'm happy to help.
Is there a cart or something, or is it we just footpath to get to the church end?
I travel by foot. It's only 5 miles.
Game Master, quick question. In Dr. St. Clair's communications with his mentor, did he mention Lydia at all?
No.
Okay, but Lydia mentioned him. Okay, gotcha.
Possibly, if it's the same person. Yeah.
Possibly. Okay.
It's a curious question. How far is Foulness from mainland Europe? Is it one of the Channel Islands or?
It's part of the Channel Islands off of Essex, excuse me. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think in that case, I'd probably be carrying a little extra ammo because Nazi killing is my business. All right. Just take it in the whole like, ooh, time travel. Ah. All right. 1941. This place could be crawling with spies. I agree. This tea is delicious, but perhaps we should move on to the hotel.
But, let me see if I can draw a little map for you so you know where you're headed. Go ahead and share this with you guys. He kind of hand draws a map for you.
While he's distracted, I'm going to do a little bit of a closer look around here just to see if there's anything of interest that a cursory look might have missed.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Impromptu map.
There it is.
That's
Impromptu map. So you're right here, he says, and he jots that down on the paper. This is the sea, and he writes that down very clearly.
That's
You
awesome.
Uh,
pass Courtsand on your right. They're kind of a quiet, suspicious folk. If you aren't headed that way, no big loss. Keep headed along that road. You'll pass by the new house farm there at the intersection, and then Churchin's right up at the end. George and Dragon's gonna be just on the way out of Churchin. The new houses are friendly and good neighbors out there too.
I see. And where is the fort on this map?
The fort is out here, and he just kind of like draws way at the edge of the map. It's off this map actually. You follow a road out there to the very tip, and you find it.
I see. It's about 5 miles out into the ocean or thereabouts. Got you. All right, excellent.
Where are the pre-Roman ruins down here?
What's that?
The ruins.
Same thing. That's the area
south?
where the fort was.
Like down south?
No, to the north.
To the north. So, okay, up in that corner. Gotcha.
Is it that one road that kind of curls away after church?
That's right.
End? It just
That's
goes,
Yep.
just fades away like a dying.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And
That's right.
where's this famous broomway I've heard about, sir?
Oh, it's just down yonder, and he gestures. You can see the edge of the broomway coming out of the sea right now because it's high tide.
Do I see it on the map, or is it?
No, it's just you see where your here is. It's kind of like at this bend here.
Does it get completely covered at high tide?
Yeah, you're only seeing stuff coming up. You also see the broom sticking up as well.
So sorry.
I was gonna say, is it one of those like hidden, like during low tide, it's exposed, but high tide it's underwater?
Right.
Gotcha. That's what I thought. I wanted to make
And
sure.
it actually leads off this island entirely.
To the mainland. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is it walkable?
During
Yeah.
low tide.
Oh, yes. You can.
Okay.
I mean, if you dare to try. Listen, if you're headed out to those ruins, I'd avoid them at night.
Yeah, and why is that?
It's dangerous out there, I think.
Dangerous? What? Brigands?
Yeah,
Go
no.
straight to brigands.
Hooligans.
Some people claim they saw some sort of lights out there.
Soccer fans.
But some people claim it's the Germans off the coast. I don't buy into that though,
What do you mean
Not
you don't
here.
buy into that?
because there's
Like
nothing here worth having.
Were the
Wow.
lights coming before the war?
No, I don't think so.
You know the Germans have got flying machines.
And
Just-
U-boats. What year?
Yeah.
Yeah, U-boats.
Just kind
Yeah,
of
the U-boats are in full 100% swing right now
Yeah.
because the Americans have not joined yet. So The U-boats are controlling the North
Is the
Atlantic.
lights in the sky, or the lights in the water, or what?
He kind of crosses himself. He says, listen, the things play weird tricks out to sea. You can see some things that look like they're in the sky, but they're actually in the sea. But listen, I've witnessed stranger things at sea than a few German submarines. That's ridiculous. And there's no reason for them to be scouting this island.
So
I guess,
what is
some
it
people
then?
say that they didn't see the lights until, and he talks right over you. Some people say they didn't see the lights till after the war started, but I remember my grandfather told me that he saw them long before the war.
Hmm.
Yeah. In fact, things from the ocean. This is according to an old family legend, anyways. Things from the ocean appear at Foulness Point. They make strange offers.
Kings.
Making offers.
Yeah. But
Say-
accepting them brings doom and damnation to any who do that.
Satanic.
What kind of offers?
Oh, I don't know. I've never talked to anything from the ocean other than that albacore up there. Gave me a hell of a fight.
You're talking about mermaids and selkies. Poppycock.
He looks at you and takes a long drag on his pipe.
All this talk about rituals and stuff. Vicar's just looking at everybody one at a time. Is like,
So these apparitions or whatever, what have you, they talk to you sometimes, Jim?
No, not at all. Listen, it's all just a legend, but if you're going out there, figured I'd impart it upon you.
No, appreciate Harbor Master Jim. I feel the local folk are always the best source of information. Doctor, I agree that legends may be unfounded, but usually they're based on something. It's interesting that there's some controversy about when the lights started and where they were before the war, and the idea of lights, people from the ocean making offers that wind up in doom.
Yeah, but I mean, when you really think about it, right? Beings are walking out of the ocean onto land to talk to people. That's not happening.
No,
That's best left to fairy tales.
I see.
Exactly.
And these fairy tales, do they ever speak of them actually changing form or taking disguises?
Not that I've heard. I've told you the long and short of what I know about it. I dismiss the old family legend. People pass down stories like that to scare people off. But yeah, whatever's out there, whatever's making people suspicious, it's best not to go at night.
Did they give these folk a name?
No,
The nameless ones. Very well.
I
Well,
suppose.
Harbor Master Jim, I think that was fascinating. I appreciate you sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you for the tea.
And
Not
the
a problem. I'm
stories.
always willing to share the tea with friends.
And spill some tea. Well, shall we, gentlemen?
Yes. Well, you folks travel safe now, you hear?
Thank you, Harbor Master Jim. It's been a pleasure.
Take care. And he just sits back in his chair and smokes on his pipe.
See, that's how man survives on an island like this. You stay in your hut and you smoke your pipe and you drink your tea and you stay the fuck away from the unnamed folk out of the edge of the island.
I actually think that's Britain's national anthem at the time.
Lovely chap, that.
Strange sort of fellow, though. And people coming out of the sea to make offers. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
folklore.
Yeah.
Well, yes, it's probably nothing, but like I said, the common folk often know a lot. And sometimes things get distorted, like that newfangled telephone game. You hear it from Bob, and Bob hears it from Mary, and Mary hears it from Jim, and then suddenly nameless folk from the sea making offers of
You just
I'm
named
not rich, so it'd be telegraph for me. Sorry.
You just named all 3 people that live on this island. I think there's more. There's more to do with Harbor Master Jim. He sees everyone that comes and goes. He remembers one person, it seems, and it's the person you're looking for. Could be a spy. Could be a spy.
I found it very convenient myself, but there's only so much you can learn over a spot of tea, and we're here for a little while anyway.
Now, where are we headed? We're headed to the George and Dragon? What are we doing? I got confused.
Yeah, you guys could go anywhere. You guys could go to Churchin. You could go to Courtson. You could go to the New House Farm.
Another question. But do we have luggage? Did luggage come with us, or how long are we staying here?
Whatever you guys chose to bring
How
with
long
you. Probably very little. I think I gave each of you 5 key items outside of any weapons you might have.
Okay, so it's a day visit, as far as we know.
As far as you know.
Okay.
Tim.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, we could ask Harbor Master Jim, or is it posted? When does the ferry come and go? Is it times during the day?
Yeah, it tends to come along the high tides. It's usually easiest that way. Tim's pulling up the schedule here in a second.
Well, I myself. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Usually, they tend to come around 5 p.m. or so.
Well, I hadn't planned on staying on the island, but I'm definitely going that way. So if you gentlemen are heading that direction towards the dragon, that would certainly be of the direction I'm heading in as well. If you don't mind, I'd be glad to accompany you.
There's safety in numbers when things are coming out of the ocean and snatching people, I suppose.
Yes. And at least we all know we came from the mainland and we're not from here, so that's something we have in common.
It's true.
I look at all of them again to see if any of them bear any resemblance to Jim, like familial. Okay. That's a check. So we'll head down the road towards the George and the Dragon?
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
You guys make your way. It takes you guys about an hour or so of walking. If you're going slower, it might take a couple hours, but you eventually make your way to Churchend. It's a little town, I think, is the best way to to describe it. But even given that, it's largelier and livelier than even Courtsend would be on this map, which doesn't say a whole lot for Courtsend. It's you see a lot of women milling about throughout town, living their day-to-day life. You notice that there's not a lot of men, probably affected by national service and conscription and things like that. There's some. It's kind of a mix of older cottages, like those kind of sandstone ones with thatched roofs, and some more modern 2-story structures with the tilted roof, the salt box type of architecture style. As you're making your way from Fisherman's Head, where you were just at, you pass by the first row of 10 cottages. There's 5 on each side, and the Church of St. Abigail stands just beyond the cottages. If you were to turn south at the church, you'd find more homes there, about 12 per side. There's a mix of architecture in that, as I said, and the George and Dragon pub is easily findable, given you have a map as well. There's also a local shop that just sells general type wares, and it's opposite the George and Dragon pub and inn.
Suggest we be careful at this Georgie Dragon place. I've heard you be a little rowdy in there, or at least I've read.
Ain't nothing that a Sussex boy can't survive. Stick with me, Doc. You'll be just fine.
If you say so.
Yeah. The George and Dragon is a 2-story building, whitewashed wooden slats, slate tiled roof. There are a couple of double doors at the front that leads into a varnished wooden, wood paneled bar room area. Um, there's a long bar against the north wall, some stools, benches, and a piano on the right. You can see some privies just off of it, a kitchen probably behind the bar. And there's a few tables with white cloths and fresh flowers there. And you can see some keys hanging behind the bar. Some people are drinking here. Nobody really of note. But who is of note is the gentleman who emerges from the kitchen as he hears you guys enter. Good evening. Welcome to the George and Dragon. Can I get you something to drink, eat, lodging?
About a round of milds for everybody but the vicar here. Sorry.
No,
Sure.
Good. I'm looking for Lydia Bacon, Coates. She was staying here.
Yeah. It's a horrible thing what happened to her. Swept away by the broomway.
That seems to happen a lot.
Yeah, and the weird part was she didn't even take her belongings with her. They're still in her room. We haven't rented it out in case she comes back.
How do you know she was swept away?
Yeah. Maybe she was out on the northeastern coast. It gets pretty foggy up there too. But the last time, well, probably a week or so ago. Last time when she left, she had mentioned wanting to visit some kind of the ruins.
The ruins up on the north of the island.
Oh yeah, that's what most people come here to see.
I will. I'll take her room.
Oh, it has her things in it. Unfortunately, it's not on offer. You could offer depending on how you want to approach this and role play it out. You could offer some kind of
I'll show him my ID, my identification, and explain that it was my aunt, and show him the letter that I brought with me from her.
I'm very sorry. I'd like you to give me a roll. I would love for you to give me a charm roll or persuade, your choice. And you can take a bonus die because you have that documentation.
He's not very persuasive for a vicar.
He's got Jesus. He's got Jesus.
Push it.
I am a pig.
People don't actually go to his church to get convinced of anything. They just go to socialize mostly.
Push it.
What was the bonus?
Did you want to push it? Oh yeah, you do get a bonus die.
I don't think it's going to matter much, is it?
There you go.
Well, it does.
It
does. Yeah, I suppose. You can gather her belongings.
Shaking. He looks like he's about ready to.
Right. Well, here you are, and she hands you the key to the room. It's room number 4. It's upstairs on the right-hand side. You can't miss it. There's only 5 rooms here, so number 4 should be fairly easy to see.
Thank you. Bless you. All right. He doesn't say anything to anybody else, and he just wanders upstairs.
As you walk past, I've got my hat against my chest. Condolences. Sorry to hear about your aunt. I
say, if you want to give her the best chance you got, I'm a professional investigator as well. Perhaps it would be helpful if someone came with you to have a look about, see if anything unusual might be spotted. If you wish to see her alive again, it's your best chance.
He just kind of shrugs. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how much she brought with her, so we'll see.
Well, you know where to find us, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like you can leave.
You make your way upstairs anyways, Thor, and opening up her room. Are the rest of you going with her, or are you staying
I
downstairs?
think he said he wanted to go on his own.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay at
I
the
don't
bar.
want to intrude.
I mean, I want to make sure that, like, she's not actually like dead on the bed.
Yeah, of course. Well, what you see when you
Or
unlock
her
the room.
undergarments are laying around.
Oh no!
Oh, no,
her
they're
stockings.
Bloomers and such.
There's no stockings right now. They all got confiscated for parachutes.
Yeah, I told there weren't any like serial killers around, so there's no stocking at all.
Yeah.
All right. This is a fairly large room. There's a bed and a bedside table along the south wall. There's a wardrobe on the east wall, dresser beneath the west-facing window. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a lot of her stuff strewn about. Her bed is made.
Like a writing desk, or I'll just kind of go through the cupboard cabinets and like if there's a writing desk.
No writing desk, just the wardrobe and dresser. Oh, there's some toiletries on top of the dresser, I suppose.
Yeah, it's probably one of those. I mean, it's old enough. It's probably one of those wash with the towel rack above it, and then like the bedpan or the chamber pot underneath it.
Oh, they have modern plumbing now. Excellent.
On the island in 41. That's impressive. It smells like fish water.
Yeah, it does. The whole place smells like that.
It all goes out.
It's a little fishy, if you will.
Yeah, everything just flushes out to sea. It's fine.
And then washes right back in.
Yeah, it's just a tube that connects to the ocean.
Gross.
They call it the poop chute. Okay.
Yeah, I'll see if she's left anything out, like notes or where her stationery is, or.
Yeah, why don't you give me a spot hidden roll?
Yeah, he's gonna have to have the detective come up here at some point.
Yeah, you don't see much anything. The only thing you note is that her top dresser drawer is locked. All right, let me come back downstairs. I'll come back to you. Oh, Dan is still.
He'll pray for a little while, and then he'll come down after you're done with these guys.
There you go. Welcome back, Dan. All right, so what are you folks doing down here?
I expect we're sipping a pint at the very least.
Clearly, Hargreaves slips off to the outhouse.
Yeah, there was a line.
Anything in particular you want to ask about, or?
So, I try to kind of chat it up a little bit with the bartender and get him to be a little more casual and kind of less guarded.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any locals around other than the tent?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a few locals.
Hot locals
near you.
Back
they're all just grandmothers though. So I don't. Yeah.
Grilfs.
There you go.
So
Hot
sorry.
Grilf Island.
So sorry.
Just stop it. Stop it right now. No.
There's something hysterical about people dressed like you guys are dressed making these jokes. Okay.
My aunt is missing, you monsters.
Is she hot?
Yeah, that's why.
How dare you?
Now, what was she wearing?
All right.
Okay, back to the game.
So we talked to the locals. Any locals here? Yeah, that look like interesting. Things.
Yeah, I mean, they all look really, really kind of homely. Nobody's like dressed well here. They just look like this looks like maybe like the lobby of farmermingle.com or something. Like, it's all just people who are here having some drinks. A piano player might kick up a tune. Some folks might bodily sing along with it. But nothing too much, just typical things.
Any memorabilia on the walls or photos of events that occur? You know, sometimes people have a wall of like famous people and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll look around for anything interesting that might lead me to Mercer.
Yeah, no famous folks have really come through here. You do see that there's a picture of an old yew tree out in front of the church locally. Looks like some general local photography out here. Some photographs of the ocean. Pretty generic.
Do I have a photograph of Professor Kent?
I don't. I doubt it.
Okay, because maybe I can see if I've seen him. All right.
I'm sorry, Doctor. Were you going to speak to the bartender or?
I'm going to ask him. Excuse me, barkeep. Do you recall another archaeologist, a professor type, Dr. Kent, coming through this way? First name Alistair.
The name's Greg, by the way. Greg
yeah.
Chapman. It's nice to meet you.
Oh, it's just nice to meet you, sir.
An archaeologist. Well, we've had a few of those come through. There's interest in the ruins, of course. So some people like to come out here and investigate. What'd you say his name was?
Kent. Alistair Kent. About 1939 or so. But...
Yeah. 39. They go in the back and come back out with another book, a guest book, and start flipping through it. Do you know about when?
Just December, towards the end of the year. Maybe approximately.
Oh, yeah. Kent. Yep. He was here. He stayed in room 3, matter of fact.
Has anyone stayed in that room since he's left? Obviously.
Oh, of course. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, strange enough, he left his things behind too.
Where? What he did?
No, yes.
What happened to them?
Oh, they just got sold over at the general store after a while, things just being left behind.
Do you think they perhaps might still have something left there of his?
Maybe. It's a lot of surveying equipment, so if anybody forgot anything, then that were coming out to see the area since, they may have purchased it, but I don't know for sure. I don't really check up on that.
How far is that general store from here?
It's across the street.
Okay. I'm going to split the party.
Just as you're getting up to walk away, I kind of lean in. Whilst you got your book open there, how about a Fraser snipe, or maybe just snipe? I give him the date range that he would have been here.
Right. Snipe, yes. They don't even look in the book. Yeah, he stayed here.
And hopefully
he disappeared too. You guys seem to be on the hunt for a lot of missing folk.
Hey, you've got to be kidding me. Did he leave all of his belongings here as well?
The valise he left of his clothing, yes.
Horrible.
He typically would take that with him, but odds are highly likely he got swept away in the broomway as well.
You know, you'd think there'd be a sign, or maybe a local warning or something about the dangers of the broomway, and I laugh and kind of take a sip.
Oh, there is.
Oh, Fraser Snipe, always a silly one. He's probably out wandering around the island somewhere. Did you happen to talk to him while I was here at all? Maybe a small chat about what he was up to whilst he was here?
Oh, rumors. Well, there were some folk who said he was a German spy. But I don't think that's the case. That's about as absurd as claiming Lydia was one. Huh.
And why was that ludicrous to claim that he was a German spy?
Claire.
Listen, that ship has sailed, I think, thankfully. Yeah, I don't think that's folks are spying up these ways.
I say, well, since Frank mentioned that, I pulled a picture of Mercer. Do you know this gentleman?
Look in the book when we had been here. If he'd stayed, I mean, I have it in the book. It's a thick book. It's got them all.
Colonel Edward Mercer? Do I see Colonel Edward Mercer in there? He would have been here.
No,
right?
I recognize that fellow, but he certainly didn't go by that name.
Oh, really?
Why would that be? Do you know each other?
I know he was working with Snipe, so he would have been here around the same time.
Oh, he was.
Yes. So do you recognize him, though? What name was he going by?
Sir Reginald Grant.
Does that ring a bell with me?
Yeah, I think that's it's one of the gnome diplomas
Cover
you might have used. Yeah.
Gnome Diploom. Or cover.
Mm-hmm.
I see. And
Oh yeah, I guess it wouldn't be a gnome diploom, but yes.
did Grant stay here as well? Did he leave anything behind?
I don't think he left anything behind. Matter of fact, he checked out.
Oh, he did. So Snipe did not. Left his dossier. And Grant left.
He didn't leave a dossier. He left a suitcase of clothing.
Oh, my mistake.
As taking a big sip of my pint and sliding the empty glass over to Greg so he can refill it. Well, you mentioned that we're on the trail, it seems, of perhaps some missing blokes, right? So, don't you think it's odd that there's so many that go missing around here?
No. I mean, listen, our island's a bit dangerous, right? It's pretty low to sea level, and if you wander in the wrong direction, you can get stuck, or worse, you could drown, you could get pulled out to sea. There's any number of things that could happen. Usually the most likely answer is the right one. I'm afraid nothing to see here other than some dangerous vistas and some old ruins in this here pub.
I can see you don't aspire to be a real estate salesperson.
The church is nice too.
Everybody almost always dies. By the way, the church is pretty cool.
The church is to die for, they say.
We perhaps have a look at Snipe's briefcase or his suitcase? I will pull out the official document I have. I said, this is official business.
Oh, well, listen, we do have it in case he ever returns, but no.
I tap a pound on the bar.
Thank you kindly. He takes it.
Are you sure?
It's a very generous tip. Am I sure? Yes, we are holding it until he can reclaim it.
Well, I meant that you wouldn't allow maybe a few of his friends to have a look-see.
No, I don't. No, I don't think so.
It's a shame. His friends are awfully thirsty, and kind of tapping my my pocket so that the coin kind of slightly jingles.
Well, we've got plenty of that for you.
Greg, can't you just give him a look? It's important. We believe
I can give him a look. He looks underneath the counter. Yep, it's still there.
You right, dog. I pat him on his shoulder.
Figured I'd give you a show for a tip like that. A little good humor now and then.
You're going to do a little bow and curtsy there at the end as well. Sorry. I turned to face the dock and realizing that I've been bested, blushing a bit. Dick.
You do get the idea though that it was underneath the bar.
Hmm.
Well, did you folks need rooms as well, or are you planning on sleeping out at the ruins?
Well, you've made it sound so inviting out there. I thought I might have a walk, but yeah, a room would be
And
great.
by all means. No problem, friend.
Took the words right from me.
Your names. I did not catch. I did from the from his letter there that he presented. Right. And could I get your names? He sets the other book to a side, opens up the current book to the right page. If you're staying here.
Well, I hadn't determined that yet. I was just going to go to the North Island and have a peek about to see what had happened with Mercer or forgive me, what was the name he used again?
Grant.
Grant and Snipes' old area where they were working on the North Road. This is my understanding. And then I had planned to catch the 5 o'clock to leave. If I'm delayed,
Well, the 5 o'clock is tomorrow, friend. You guys came on the 5 o'clock.
Oh, we came on the 5 o'clock myself. I'm sorry. Okay. So this is it. All right. Well, yes, then yes. I guess I will be in your room.
I was like, which 5 o'clock?
Yeah. Names?
I wait for Frank.
Peter Miles.
Kind of arches a brow and writes it down anyways. Doesn't seem to really care.
John Smith.
I think there's a little twitch in my crow's peak, or crow's feet, and I was like, really, John Smith? Is it?
just as he says John Smith, I come downstairs like, Captain Alistair, Mr. Hargreaves, sir. Yeah, maybe you can take a better look at her room. And then I'll ask I'll kind of sit down and ask for like if they've got any like wine or something like that.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
And mention like, does the room key unlock the dresser too, or is that a separate?
Oh, it's a separate. Each room has a key for the dresser. It's tucked in the top of the dresser, top drawer of the dresser.
Key is in the what?
Top drawer of the dresser.
It's
unlocked. Each of the dressers are unlocked. You open up the drawer. There's the key.
But you said the one was locked.
Tim did, the storyteller. The one
Yes.
in your aunt's old room is locked, but that means that probably your aunt has the key.
So no spares.
They must lose a lot of keys on that broomway.
The key, the locksmith on the island.
I know. I don't know who the local locksmith is, but I bet it's the biggest house in the island.
Yeah.
If I were to retire,
Constantly making new keys.
if I were to retire from the cloth, I would definitely be a locksmith or a key master on this island.
I'm going to pause with you guys for a second. I want to come over to Dr. St. Clair.
Cool.
You go into the mercantile here, and you can see a gentleman standing at the edge. He's wearing an apron. It looks like he's middle-aged, probably. The place is called Pitchlock General, and it just has an assortment of things from food to hiking gear to survey equipment to just any odds and ends, photography, horseshoes. There's a lot of stuff in here.
I'm gonna approach the storekeep. Excuse me. May I ask you a question?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Well,
Welcome to the island, by the way.
Oh, thank you. My name is Dr. Edward Sinclair. What's your name, sir?
Oh, my name? Edmund Pitchlock. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Oh, that's like a sign outside. Oh, I get it. That's amazing.
Just like it, friend.
Do you recall a year or so, a couple years ago, a man went missing, Dr. Kent, and he left some things. I heard they were brought here to be sold off.
What kind of things? A number of people go missing here.
It would probably be maybe some surveying equipment, possibly any kind of books or journals or anything like that. Do you recall?
Yeah, I don't recall any books or journals, but survey equipment, we have a couple pieces over here. He'll walk you over to a shelf that has a miscellaneous array of things. It isn't like things are divided into aisles here. It's like here's a teapot, here's a some sort of survey material equipment next to it, and then there's a tent.
I'm going to look over the equipment and see if any of it's monogrammed initials.
You find your professor's some of his equipment, but there's nothing unusual about it. It's just standard survey equipment for archaeologists.
Standard stuff.
There's like a kit also of brushes that are here.
Okay,
That have
some
this-
brushes. Well, I'll ask him how much for the kit with the brushes. See what for it.
I don't know. What do you think they're worth?
They're old and used and rather. Oh my God, I'm bad at money conversion for the 1940s and below. I'm gonna say $1. That's probably a lot.
When in doubt, two-bit it out.
Yeah, 2 bits.
I'll sell it to you for £1, friend.
Okay, sorry, England. £1. All right. I give him a hearty handshake and give him £1.
All right.
Take the bag.
Well, there you are, sir. Enjoy.
Alrighty. Head back over to the I almost said Dragon Age Inn.
Yeah, that's it. It's the Dragon Age Inn. That's for sure it.
Georgia Dragon.
Yeah.
At least I
So
can
you see your friends drinking. What are you doing, Frank?
This young lady said her name was Morgan.
So you said you were asking us to take a closer look at your aunt's room. Is that right, Thorg?
Yes.
Have you not had a search about? I walk up the stairs with you.
I'm not in the right mindset.
Well, what news? They just said she was missing. It doesn't mean that she's gone.
It's a week.
Uh,
How long can you go without water? 3 days. 2.
Yeah. Well, bless her soul then, huh? I guess she's got a vicar as a nephew. So we open the door.
Yeah, and it's really neat. When you open the door, you get the idea that the vicar was looking around, but your eyes immediately are drawn to a suitcase underneath the bed.
Did you search her case?
It's your detective senses, I suppose. I'm not going to make you roll spot hidden.
Just kind of point down at. Did you search her case?
No.
Oh. May I? I reach down and pull it out, kind of making a creaking sound as it scratches across the floor, throw it on the bed.
I'll stand in the hallway outside the door with my back to the door, and I'm watching and listening to see if anyone follows us up. Just saying.
Give me a listen roll, actually.
Okay. Listen. It's the same as why not see it? Listen.
It's under L.
Oh, it is. Okay. Failure.
Look at that streak of red, man. That's
Works.
This is rough.
Yeah.
We're doing great. We're doing great.
I bang
you
banging
open up the
suitcase.
suitcase.
Yeah.
Yeah, you open the suitcase and it's empty. It's been opened up, emptied out. Reverend, you note that when you were up here the last time, some of her clothes and stuff are still in the wardrobe, but nothing.
She moved everything from the into the dresser.
Yeah.
Search along the lining and the edges of it, Tim, just to see if there's anything kind of, we were talking about spies. I've got my spidey sense on, so nothing.
Yeah, no.
Aunt Lydia is, OSS.
You never know these
In
days.
this hallway?
There are 7.
I will also watch the bottom of the door, see if I see anyone moving behind them, so if I can spot it. I'm much better
give me a
at
spot
spotting
hidden.
than listening. All
Give me a
right,
spot hidden.
spot hidden.
I like this.
Yes, first success. There we go.
Hey! Good. Second success. You succeeded on charm earlier too.
Oh, that's right. He pushed it.
You do see some what appears like ladies' shoes near the door across the hall from this room. They move like somebody's walking near the door.
Okay. Like an eavesdrop kind of move, or like
Hard to tell. It's just feet, but yeah, they're kind of
Okay.
running parallel. Both feet are kind of parallel to the door, so
all right.
you get the idea that they could be leaning against it.
Okay.
They could also be walking like an Egyptian. One of those things.
I just lean casually back in the room. I point at Frank. I point at my ear. I point at the door.
I'm gonna say I think I'm probably engrossed, if I'm being honest, because I was looking at the case and all this stuff, so I wouldn't be watching out in the hallway.
I don't know where her writings stationery is either.
So she unpacks her things. Obviously, she'd planned to stay for some time.
Yeah, she did. She said she's going to be here a while. She's getting away from London. Her health wasn't very good.
And she goes wandering. Why is it that people go wandering around?
Well, she said she wanted to go and visit the ruins, but she was going to wait for a carriage or one of the locals to take her.
Well, that's it then. She's probably just up that way.
That was 3 weeks ago.
Well, right, but if that's what she wanted to do, then that's probably what she's done. I look around to look shoes and clothes and other things. Like, how did she pack? Was she packed like a sort of a proper lady would pack these days, or does she have like some safari clothes or something, ruined spelunking clothes?
Your aunt would not have ruined spelunking clothes.
No. Yeah. She's a little old.
She has a nice sundress though.
She wasn't the bushwhacker.
Does she mention why she wanted to come to the ruins by chance?
Dressed as an antiquarian.
Oh, I see.
Sightseeing. I mean, why else would people go to
Dressed like this,
castles?
I don't know. But so she wanted.
That's why she was touristing. She wasn't gonna go by herself. She wasn't.
So many of them were headed toward the ruins.
Ruins or the broom?
Well, we certainly don't want to go out in the broom. I would recommend we visit the ruins when we can.
Is anybody going to try their hand at perhaps picking the lock on the wardrobe, or not the wardrobe, but the dresser? No, not necessary, but just curious because that was mentioned as well.
Yeah, I was thinking as he's jiggling it.
Under locksmith. It's under locksmith, right?
Yeah, also under L.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have picks.
Also, a mechanical repair would work as well.
I don't think that's something a Vicar has.
If you have picks, you would get a bonus die on it.
Yeah, cool. I need it. I would need it in the worst way. I have
Wait,
no
do you have
lock
lockpicks? Did I give you a really bad lockpick score? That's
I have
weird.
lock. Yeah, I have one.
Let me look.
I
No,
would do
that should not be accurate. Give me a
I'm
second.
like, it's
Okay.
under L for not gonna
For nothing.
It's under L for
isn't that funny?
luck
Somebody
roll.
with no training in
one
locksmith.
less possession,
Yeah.
you bum.
Eleanor, let's
This
try
sounds good to me.
again.
Okay,
you
cool.
go.
Let's-
Yeah, there you go. Go with that.
all right. If I pick this lock and all we find is a bunch of dirty knickers, I'm going to be very upset. I do it. Let's see. I do not, but I'm going to spin the luck there.
You
I
do have a
think.
bonus die as
Yeah.
well.
Oh, I do. Hang on. Sorry.
Let me give you a prayer.
Yeah,
I'm
1d4.
Old rusty lock. One.
Have
Two,
faith.
10.
I have faith in you, my son.
No, not any better.
That's
I
definitely not.
Have
So
faith
if you
in
wanted to spend a couple
do.
luck, you could to make it.
I
Yeah,
do.
that's fine. Yeah, with a click, the top dresser drawer unlocks. Good.
There you are. I step back. Let him respectfully do whatever.
That's where the viper comes flying out. I mean,
Yeah.
5 pips. Yeah, I'll open the drawer and look inside.
You see inside some writing implements, some envelopes, some paper, and you can see that sitting on top of the paper seems to be an unfinished letter of sorts.
Yeah, I'll grab it and take a look and read it.
All right, second. There we go.
Imagining Foulness Island lost and found is like a 17-story skyscraper.
That's the other good career.
That's right.
You pick some wonderful names. My dearest Ermintrude. Hope this letter finds you well. Did you get over that nasty rash? You know what happened about the family crypt in Highgate? Dreadful business, all said and done. I'm still at Foulness, though I fear I may have to cut my visit short. Someone here has proven most rudely attentive of my day-to-day activities. Although they appear of the well-to-do sort, I have found them following me outside, and I'm fairly sure they have been in my room when I've been out. Oh, some good news. Before I forget, I'd like to tell you...
Well, that sounds rather distressing. You're reading this out loud, yes? I assume?
Yeah.
A rather German name.
Ermintrude.
Could this be some sort of bizarre code? Captain, are you still out in the hallway?
Yeah, and I'm sort of listening.
Yeah, so I did you hear that? Come have a listen to this. I'll trade you spots.
Do I know of any like her bridge friends or bingo friends that?
Yeah, in
by the
fact,
name
you've heard of
Ermintrude?
Ermintrude. It's a bridge friend
Okay.
of yours.
Yeah, hers.
Do I?
Oh yes, excuse me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I play bridge with them too.
If you want me to take a look, may I?
Yeah. I mean, sure. Just
I do have my cipher notebook with me. Do I see anything about the note that has a hidden message?
You do not.
Okay.
Even with your expert eyes, you don't see anything that seems to be a hidden message
family
here.
crypt in Highgate. Do I know anything about their family crypt in Highgate? Was it like
there's
bombed during the?
No, it was not bombed. But they had to move some things about there.
Since someone's watching her room, basically. I do close the door if there's room with three of us in here.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
I nod at the wall towards the door. I say, there appears to be someone across the hall quite keen on, perhaps, dropping the Eve here. If your aunt's room was pilfered while she was out, it's a pair of women's shoes, I say in a very low voice, across the hall. It seemed, like I said, keenly interested.
I mean, yeah, she was getting older. I mean,
He's like, how's that relevant? Like, is she like?
well, the maid stole my Blair, or she didn't really seem like that, but
you're like doubting her.
I don't know.
So she's.
Do they have? I don't know how room service works here for turn downs.
So what is it? What is? You want to sum up the note again? What does the note say, basically?
Dreadful business. So says that I'm still at Foulness, though I fear I may have to cut my visit short. Someone here has proven most rudely attentive to my daily activities. Although they appear the well-to-do sort, I have found them following me outside, and I'm fairly sure they've been in my room when I've been out. Oh, but good news, before I forget, I'd like to tell you, and then that's it.
So all of her possessions are missing. She wouldn't have taken everything that she wears from her suitcase.
No, her clothes are still
The clothes
in
are
the dresser.
there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was empty. The clothes are still in the suitcase?
No, dresser. She moved them from the suitcase. So the suitcase is empty, and everything was put. Well, kind of like if you were doing an extended stay at a hotel, you wouldn't just leave all your stuff. So
You know, Captain, as I kind of run my finger along her dresses, the list of people around here who would seem well-to-do is rather short, I'm sure.
Did the lady's shoes I saw on the door, they look like nice shoes, or?
Yeah, they look like they were, yeah, probably upper middle class.
So those were some upper middle class shoes I saw.
She referred to... Yes. Interesting.
And what's the date on the letter? Or is her date?
There's no date.
Okay. But you last heard from her 2 weeks ago, and she used to write you every day. 3 weeks ago. How often did she write you?
Oh, a couple times a week.
A couple times a week. So this would be the letter that you would have received.
No, this was to her other friend. Her friend Ermentrude.
Ermentrude, right? Okay. Well, it's not like your aunt, right, not to finish the letters and keep sending them. She didn't send them to you.
No.
Question.
That's the only one I found in the drawer. That's still written. That's written.
Right, and it's halfway there. So, and she didn't post it.
No.
Did the bartender tell you how long it's been since she checked into her room?
Well, she's been here. She's been here 4 weeks, 4 weeks.
About 4 weeks.
Yeah. So.
When was the last? Sorry.
Yeah. What did they said that she's only been gone a few days, or a week?
Yeah, about a week and a half.
So, Reverend, you get a letter a couple times a week. Has she mentioned this Ermentrude before? What?
Oh yeah, I've met her.
You've met her, so it's a... I see. All right.
Yeah, it's one of the locals that she plays,
scratching out my hypothesis
it's
in
like
my little book.
One of the locals she plays, like one of her friends that she plays like bridge and cribbage. And
where else would her aunt stay on this
Tommie.
island besides this hotel?
Well, there's the farm.
Is your aunt one to make fast friends?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, she did meet the Lord and said that she was going to go over to eat dinner or something. He goes through his pocket to pull out the other letter. Lord can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here. And before I forget, I have met the Lord of the Manor, a dashing gentleman by the name of Sir Thomas Culbert.
Which handout is that, guys?
This is the first one. This is the letter from me. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Let's bring that back up.
He invited me to tea one afternoon at his manor house, and as soon as this blasted weather clears, consider taking him up on his offer.
Someone was rudely attentive to her activities. Someone was watching her and following her, made her feel uncomfortable. And she came here again just to sightsee? Or to do...
She had some health issues and she wanted to get out of London. So pretty much, quiet, move to the countryside. I mean, the war getting closer and closer. I think she just wanted to. I mean, it's probably smart to move out of London.
I posted a photograph of her from the module on Discord in the Foulness Island Vanishings. If you're curious what Aunt Lydia looked like.
Stop speaking about her in past tense.
She's dead, Jim. She's dead.
You said she went to see the Lord. I was like, oh, did she now? Of course
she might did. She might still be alive.
She had unnaturally long arms.
So her first indicated that the archaeologist is the polite lady, and the chap was the ornithologist, which she shared many meals with.
I don't know. I mean, maybe rest is good as mine. I've not met any of them, so I don't know.
Just saw that picture of Aunt Lydia making a jam roly.
A what?
Aunt Lydia making a jam roly-poly.
It's
like a jam, like a jam roll, bread roll thing.
Interesting too that one of her last things that she wrote in her letter was that she had planned she could find a young guide to go visit the ruins.
Yeah, or a cart. Yep. Oh, man.
Well, I will say that the ruins are certainly one of the stops I need to make.
Seems there are some signs.
Anyone interested in making a trip to the ruins?
Well, I think we've all got to
I mean,
go.
it's probably pushing let's see, 5 miles walking pace. It's probably pushing about 7, 8 o'clock at night right now. We got in at 5.
Mm-hmm.
A brisk constitutional would do your health well. I wish to wait till the morning.
You did it too.
What's the weather like? Is it bad?
Well done.
You got to reduce for other people to see it in the chat. You got to reduce the handouts.
Yep, I'm moving it.
There's always a stack of handouts.
Yeah,
here.
I closed mine instead of those. There you go.
There you go.
My dear Lord.
I remember that. That was when she was in the Betty Crocker magazine. Yeah.
Your aunt has amazingly long arms. You sure she's not one of the water people from the...
No,
And boy, does she have a deal to offer you.
She was diametrically opposed to the water people. She was more of an earth person.
Rather large, scaly hands as well.
Okay. So,
This is before Dawn District.
what is your guys' plan for the rest of the evening tonight?
Personally, I think the vicar's going to go to the church.
Okay.
Partially to pray, and the other part to see the state of it, since that there hasn't been a new vicar appointed.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
The
Well,
church is right across the
What
street.
day is it of the week?
It's a Thursday afternoon or evening now.
Okay, it is evening. Maybe time to turn in.
Oh yeah, because you guys arrived at 5. So by walking a couple hours, spending an hour with Jim, getting checked in,
Mhm.
it's probably getting close to 10.
Oh, well.
Oh, really?
No.
All right.
Yeah, too late to go trouncing about on dangerous
Even late to go to the
Outcrops
church,
of
like
rock.
Vespers or something. I don't know.
He'll try to eat something, and then he'll just pay for the room, and then probably just turn in.
Okay.
The wild life of the vicar.
Huh?
That's just sure, guys. The wild life of the vicar.
That's right.
I'm gonna get
That's
some
right.
food and try to find a place to sleep.
Yeah.
All right. Is anybody else doing anything?
Finishing them up. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
Just finishing up my bangers and mash and talking to Greg.
think I will retire to the room and look over the weird book that I already brought with me that was left.
Okay. Sure.
I'll hang out in the downstairs, get a little bit to eat, drink, and I'll listen to any conversations, see if I can hear any clues or anything interesting in the local gossip.
Great. That sounds good. Okay, so yeah, you're able to read your book, no problem. And Reverend Whitaker, it's well-earned rest today. You are pretty tired. You've been emotionally drained, so it makes sense that you want to get some shut-eye. Frank, what are you talking to Greg about? He's out. So it's after 10 o'clock. There are no more guests in the dining room area at that point. The liveliness has died down, and the front door has a little placard that says closed that's been flipped around. And you can call for Gregory, and he'll come not from the kitchen, but down the hallway where their living quarters is. And say, yes, what can I do for you?
Yeah, so I think, I mean, we had such a good time talking, and I don't sleep all that well. So, can I get a bottle of whiskey, and why don't you share it with me?
Sure, happy to. And he gathers a bottle of whiskey and sits down at a table with you.
So I try to get a sense of, so what's it like running a place like this? so warm and inviting on an island like, well, this. Huh? Cheers.
Yeah,
Clink.
it's an honor. Cheers to you as well. It's an honor, really. I mean, this is one of the older buildings on the island, and we do a fair amount of business. Not a ton of people come to visit, but when they do, they don't have many other options of where to stay. So it's nice to meet folks that aren't from here all the time, I
Nice.
suppose. Mm-hmm.
What do you make of all these disappearances? I think we're trading sips of whiskey, right? Or maybe doing a shots together or whatever.
For
and,
sure.
You know, what do you make with all these disappearances and whatnot? Seems like a lot of, I don't know, ghost stories and hubbub going on, but there's some truth to it, ain't there?
Ghost stories?
Well, lights in the water and that sort of thing. Right?
Well, I'll tell you, I don't much know what's happening other than the broomway and the fog. But what I can tell you, did you see the yew tree out in front of the vicarage?
No, well, it's in the
churchyard.
photograph over there, isn't it?
Mm.
Oh, I've not been there, but I saw the picture.
It was a beautiful tree once, thick and green. Some say there's a curse upon it now. There's a hangman's rope hanging from it, something sinister, not of this world. And he waves over Hargreaves when he comes downstairs. As you see, this is the only people to eavesdrop on.
Okay.
I pull over another glass from those that he's got on the shelf, kind of turned over, right, and put it right side up and pour 2 fingers of whiskey in there.
I sit.
So Greg was just telling us about this cursed tree in front of the vicarage. Do you believe that? Go on. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you look thirsty.
Do tell. Cursed tree.
Out in front of the churchyard. They say, I don't know if it's true or not, an old man and his daughter lived in the cottage just beyond the church. Jack Lander was his name. He was a right mean old so-and-so, I'll tell you now. He misused his daughter.
Oh,
And he'd sometimes tie her up in the cottage with that very rope you see on the tree.
is that the rope they used to hang him?
Who is that?
Good riddance.
Murder allowed, some folks say, and that's very true in this case. You see, Lander and his daughter disappeared some 5 years ago, matter of fact. No trace found. No one took over the cottage and fell in the poor state it's in now, if you visit it. None visit the cottage day or night, really, and all those who pass it cross themselves.
Well, this is a cheery place. Take a drink.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you were hoping to find here, friends. They say sometimes on an evening, the howl of a dog can be heard from the cottage. Some have seen a dark shape making its way from the cottage to the churchyard.
Why a dog?
I don't know, you've got me. Devil dog? That's my guess.
On an island this small?
I
Maybe
suppose-
a devil chihuahua.
How much space does a devil dog need to thrive then, Captain? I laugh and have a sip. Not sure what to make of it.
He doesn't laugh. He just downs the rest of the whiskey and sets the cup down again.
These weigh heavily upon your mind. This stories like this, the dark shadow that you say you've heard moves from the cabin to the churchyard at night?
Yep. That dog creature thing shape makes its way from the cottage to the churchyard, stops over at the yew tree, digs at it. Maybe he's trying to uncover the bones of Lander's daughter.
Most nights? Like tonight? Like right now?
Sometimes. If you want to go check, you're more than welcome.
Get a chill. Have you seen this thing?
Sure.
You have. With your own eyes. And
Unless
you think
my eyes are playing tricks on me.
Well, the whiskey. Mate, you've seen a dog man? Or a dog creature?
Well,
Heavens.
nothing corporeal, anyways. I think it's probably Lander's sin given form if I had to wager a guess. I warn you, though. Keep away from the path between the church and the cottage at night. I so wish the new priest had come and take over the church and put that spirit to rest.
Well, we've got a vicar with us. He's upstairs asleep now.
Does he want to move to Foulness Island?
No, but I certainly think he wants to put an end to whatever foulness is going on here. Glancing over at the captain. Fancy a walk?
I could stretch my legs. And if you look carefully, you see me reach for my side where I keep my pistol. Like,
I glance down at my breast as well. There's a slight bulge there. What about the others? We should bring the vicar. No pun intended. Don't say it, Garett. We should wake the vicar.
Want to wake him up? Sounds like fun.
Well, I'm not exactly a praying man, but I mean, I don't want to run into any sort of man-eating apparition that's keen to dig holes the base of the tree either. Only half laughing.
Such things, tell your friend, they don't exist. They don't exist. It's just folklore.
They might exist.
Oh, forgive me. I understand the hobgoblins of the mind. It's a terrible thing.
Hey, we should wake the archaeologist as well. He's got... Didn't he say he was going to get tools? I don't know what he got, but perhaps he could...
Did the archaeologist come back?
He came back in the door and he went upstairs, right? Didn't you, Tommie? I think you came back, right, and went upstairs?
Yeah, I came back, got her, and went upstairs.
No, he said he was going to go for a walk down the broom.
Yeah. Maybe he could help us.
Yeah, let's look them both up. Here,
Yeah,
let's one more sifter of brandy, and then let's go.
Yeah. We finished the bottle with Greg.
Yeah, he outdrinks you guys at a pace of maybe 2 to 1 for each of you.
Good.
I'm telling you, this is my third liver, so let's go. All right, we'll go wake up the priest and the doctor, and we won't take no for an answer. Come, boys. I have a look.
A look at what? It's
How
ungodly hour.
long's it been since they went downstairs?
About an hour.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
11 o'clock at night.
he's still awake because he's still doing like his Hail Marys and.
Got your little rosary out.
Yeah.
So,
We're going to take a walk around the churchyard.
Quick question,
Pulls
Jim.
out a pocket watch. Like,
So the book that Professor has, that's his mentor's book, correct?
Yes.
Journal. And there's just a bunch of weird nonsense that makes no sense.
Exactly. It just sounds like the ramblings of kind of a madman.
It's just ridiculous.
You're really trying to make the most out of it, though.
Yeah, it's just utter poppycock.
Doctor, I don't mean to interrupt your reading, but did you pick up shovels or some sort of digging tools whilst you were across the way?
you are not digging on hallowed ground.
Shovel? What, dear Lord, what do you need a shovel
Whatever
for?
do you mean?
You just asked me to go to the churchyard, and you're talking about bringing.
Well,
a
there's
shovel.
also a shack. Come on, there's more details. We'll talk on the way.
Yeah, let's go, grab your
You
shovels. Let's
smell
go.
like a brewery.
Actually,
Yeah,
a
we
distillery,
smell like a
more
brandy
properly, but
sip.
yes.
Possessions.
Breweries are for mead beer. That's
Yeah.
not what we smell like at all.
I've
Good
got
boy.
very small tool, like just like the brush and stuff that I got, the brushes I got. Probably got a little other satchel of just some tiny archaeology, tiny tools. I'm not walking around with a pickaxe or a shovel.
You might have like a spade or something like that.
All right, yeah, I'll have that.
See, yeah, come on. Look, it's just a precaution, right? If
What exactly are we digging up at 11 o'clock at night?
we'll explain on the way. Come on, come on.
Oh dear Lord! He puts like just his spectacles and gets a little bag and it's.
Look, what? And I grab you by the shoulders, and with this huge grin on my face, I mean, if I told you that we were going to try to encounter a murderous apparition that was on its way to the church to dig a hole, possibly to dig up the bones of some dead child that was killed by her father, you totally wouldn't believe me anyway, would you?
Balderdash. Utter balderdash.
I mean,
Of
it's not like
course.
it's Thursday or something.
I wink at the captain, and then we go.
Okay. Yeah, you guys make your way out towards the churchyard. The church is called the Church of St. Abigail. It's surrounded by a low stone wall. It has ancient weathered gravestones that are kind of scattered throughout the yard of the church. On the northeastern corner of it is the yew tree that's pictured, pretty tall, old and gnarled, has like sagging boughs. Some of them even get close to touching the ground. You see the rope hanging from a high branch. It's like the old rotted hemp of a rope.
Take a look
Yeah.
around. I will look up at. I'll use I have my bag. I'll take my military issue compact field binoculars and look carefully at the rope and everything else. See if I see anything out of the ordinary. Like, is this really how you hang somebody? Is that trigger? Let me actually gonna hold a human body? Like anything out of the ordinary here?
Well, I mean, it wouldn't hold anybody now, but it may have in the past for sure. As you're looking through the binoculars, I'd love for you to give me a spot hidden roll.
Nice.
But again, I can see. 39 out of 70.
Excellent. As you're bringing the binoculars back down, you note that the earth beneath the tree has been recently disturbed.
I say, Doctor. I point.
Oh.
You see a bizarre thing. Suddenly, you've never seen before, probably. A red military issue pen light with lens filter, like a little laser beam, points at the base of the tree, and where the ground is disturbed. Does that look to you, sir, like something amiss?
Should I roll a check for that?
You can all see it when it's pointed out. There's no
Okay.
need to roll a check for it. You can see it.
I'm not quite sure what that is.
Here, you've got your pen light shining, and I pull out like this clunky, not so sophisticated, giant bastard flashlight, and just.
What is it?
How about now?
What is it exactly again? I'm looking at
The
disturbed
earth's
ground.
disturbed, like it was dug up.
Like
or
it was
something?
dug up. Yeah.
From the outside or the inside?
Ooh.
Well,
Well,
what a good question. What would probably be a good roll? Give me a natural world roll.
Nice.
Okay.
or an unnatural world.
Yeah. Or Cthulhu Mythos. No, I'm just kidding.
Pretty old idea.
Wait, why is it? Did it roll? I didn't see anything happen.
I heard it roll.
Yeah, there's a failure
Oh,
there.
you guys
there
are
it
doing
is.
so great at rolls.
I got 32 versus 25, huh?
Oh, shit.
Can I push that? Just for the heck of it? See what happens? Or is that not a thing?
You can, but if you fail,
That is the joy of it. And pushing's just rolling again, correct?
it is. And if you fumble,
Oh, yes.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Nailed
wow,
it.
that's a way to do it. That's a way
Yes,
to
it
do
is.
The Lord is with you, my son.
it. Yeah,
Brilliant.
it looks like it was dug up from above ground.
It looks like someone was dug up here, and I'm not really sure what they would have been looking for. If I look in there, does it look like something's been removed? Is it like a hole? Like, what's it look like?
Very
No,
astute
I
of
mean
you,
it just
sir.
looks like churned soil. It doesn't look like
Does it-
anything is.
Hmm.
They look
I
like a
can-
shovel or like claws. I lean in, and they said an animal was digging at the base of this tree. Now this is
You could tell St. Clair that this looks like an animal was digging at the base of the tree.
Mm.
Some type of dog.
Badger. I mean, they're
Badger,
everywhere.
that's what they.
badger, squirrel.
No, Sinclair, that's what they said. That sounds ridiculous, but that's what they said the dog creature was doing. I shine my flashlight around the perimeter a bit, you know.
Surely you don't believe all that twaddle and drivel they're talking about.
I'm not
If they've
saying
been
I believe
digging,
it,
it
but
does
this-
this every night. I mean, it would eventually dig a big enough hole, right? I mean,
There's a perfectly reasonable explanation, gentlemen. Someone's
I
dog
shine the light up
obviously
on
got
the
loose.
rope. Is the rope behaving itself? It's not doing
Yes,
anything?
it's
Okay.
acting just normal hanging there. Maybe it blows with the breeze of the wind, but nothing unusual. The church, by the way,
The church is right there, right?
Yeah, the church is there. It's built from dark brown bricks. Has a tall
I'd go check the front doors.
gable roof. Yeah. The door. There are a couple doors. Well, there's a door and a couple windows. On the east side is the general entry door, and it is locked. There's also the eastern window that leads into the kitchen, and there is the south or the north window that leads into a kind of just an open gathering hall space.
I don't have a flashlight, so I'm not gonna be one.
You can see it. Actually, interestingly enough, the amount of light that's being provided from the moon and the stars and whatnot is ample because there's not a lot of and the well, you might be night blind from the
it's
detective's
5,000
flashlight.
I mean, it's clearly a full moon.
torch. I'll poke my head and see if I can see inside the window that's next to the same side as the door.
I'm getting slightly confused. So is that next to where we are? Is it a distance away?
Yep. So the yew tree is in front of the church,
Gotcha.
off to a side, and then the church itself, the eastern door, is where he's at.
So while the doctor, the detective, and the military man are probing at the digging hole, the vicar wanders off to the church like 20, 30 feet away to peek in the window, see what he can get inside. We hear him like rattling the doors. I don't know what his stealth roll is, but he's probably pretty loud.
I'm not thinking anything weird's going on, so he's not. He's paranoid, but not the same as you guys. Apparently,
it's obviously a large dog. Someone's large dog simply got loose and buried a bone or something.
The vicar's at the door. Quick, see what you can uncover there. Maybe there's something under there that's attracting the dog.
Oh yeah, give it a
brush. Give it a brush. Go on.
Poke it with a stick. Poke it with a stick.
Yeah.
Yes, doctor. Poke it with your expert stick of detectiveness.
Do it, doctor. I step back, shining the light.
Show us your skill.
I grab a twig. I start poking into the hole, see if I feel anything in there.
You probe the hole with your stick over and over again until you exhaust yourself, and nothing unusual there.
Look at the technique, Abernathy. Look at the technique. That man has obviously gone to Oxford. This is clearly, I've never seen such stick work.
That man is clearly an expert at holes.
He went deep. He went deeper than I expected. It more quickly than I expected as well.
He did.
Yeah, it was good.
Excellent probing, Dr. Sinclair. Excellent probing.
I'm going to put my hand in there and see if I feel anything.
You shove your whole fist into that hole and wiggle it around, and the surrounding dirt kind of caves in and out as you move around inside it, but you don't feel anything unusual.
Well, there's obviously nothing here. It's just an empty hole. The dog probably grabbed a bone and ran off with it.
Your hand and your sleeve up to your elbow is pretty dirty now.
Do you see that shack over there? It's right there. See it? Let's walk over there. Direct line between this hole and that abandoned shack.
You are trying to, well, whatever. All right.
Okay.
I have my little pen light out.
I handed the doctor my handkerchief.
Clean up after yourself. If you're near the tree right now, I'd love for you to get me a spot hidden roll.
Okay.
All of us?
All of us?
If you're by the tree.
Okay.
No.
Ooh, hard success.
Excellent.
2 thumbs up.
Great. I'm going to give you a bonus die on your tracking roll as you see some sort of tracks.
Ooh. Is anyone good at tracking that I could assist with my bonus die?
I'm trying to shake the dirt out of my hanky. Well, tracking what? What are you talking about?
Oh, it's just tracking, man. Don't make it complicated. Well, should I have a better
Are
than
you
10 for
pointing? I obviously have no idea that there's any tracks there. I'm worried about my hanky.
Let me see. I want to see.
I only have a 10 track, so I mean, I'm not trying to quibble, but
let me take a look here.
I track people for a living.
What are you pointing at? I can help, of course. It's part of what I do for a living.
Oh yeah, I think the detective had a good amount of track. Yeah.
Okay, detective then.
Yeah.
Detective, could I assist you with this bonus die?
Whoa. Oh, you point out.
I'll say yes, that's fine.
There you go. All right.
You really pointed out to him. See right here.
Right here and right here.
Separate out
and right
the
there.
curly pieces of grass around
let's
it.
do the bonus
For Christ's
die.
sake.
And light.
Here comes the bonus die. There we go. Yeah.
Woohoo!
Cool.
Yeah, you note that animal tracks are leading away from the tree toward the abandoned cottage. Looks like dog tracks.
How large of a dog?
Decent size, probably a medium-sized dog.
You were quite right about the dog. Went that way.
Of course, it's the only logical explanation. A simple mutt.
Why dig here? It's such a local age. Were there any sausages hanging about in the bar?
Sure.
Quite a few.
Okay, one moment, gents.
Did you want to bury those in the hole?
No, I spot over. I'll just, I'll leave like
There are at least 5
pound
sausages.
coin on the bar, take a couple of sausages in case I run into the dog, and come back out.
I mean,
So let's go investigate.
after he had his fist in there, I don't know. It'll take quite a sausage, you know.
Exactly why are we chasing a dog?
Well, it's undoing
It's
some local
complicated.
legends. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. First, it's this, and then perhaps tomorrow the fish people.
And it's fitting that we're both probably pretty drunk anyway,
Yes.
right? So
Oh,
yeah,
did you pick up on that?
yeah.
Just
All right,
stuck
so
with
I've
these
got a
two
couple
drunk-
sausage links in my red pen light,
Yeah, you smell like sausage.
and
There you
I'm like leading the party if I can over towards the tracks towards the hut.
Well, Frank has to kind of guide you, but you make your way there, notwithstanding. And you come upon this cottage that not too far from the church. You left a poor father back behind at the church in your drunken nature.
You just see the sweeping flashlight go kind of bobbing
you
off
see it
in the
going
distance.
the other
yeah.
side of the church now. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, Bob, if you want to catch up, you probably can see our flashlight. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
It does stand apart a bit from the rest of the village. It's in a severe state of disrepair. It's built from sandstone bricks. There's 2 floors with a couple windows that are broken on each level. There's really no glass in them left at all. It's pretty dark inside, though. That's true. The roof is ruined, full of gaps. It's overgrown with small, stunted trees and scraggly bushes. Please don't fist the bushes. There's no door. Entry is possible from the front and back.
Where does the trail lead, Frank?
Let me see. This way. Where does it?
Yeah,
lead?
it's a window on the first level.
All right.
It's
I can get it
are
for you
there
guys
scratch
leave.
marks on the base of the window, like beneath the on the wall?
Actually, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I read no doors. It's there's no doors, meaning that just the door frame is open. So it just went through the front. They lead up to the
got it,
main door.
okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, you still went to the front door?
Yeah,
Yes.
it'll look right through that.
Alright.
Yeah. Let's have a
Very
look.
carefully, I'll step up and I'll
Hold on.
like, check the floor, see if it's rotten. Make sure I don't step in any rotten like floorboards. Does it seem like this is suspended above ground, or is it like flash to the ground, basically?
I'll get right back to you. I'm going to go over to the father and see what he's up to.
Did I see anything before in the window before I had to chase after them?
Yeah, as I said, you kind of spy the kitchen. You spy the kitchen.
That was it.
Okay.
Just use. Yeah. Then as soon as I realized that they're already like halfway down Crooked Lane.
Yeah. Okay. And what were you asking then, Dan?
Oh, is the hut basically like on ground level?
Yeah, I mean, there's like a stair leading up to it, basically like a step up to it. But yeah, it's 2 stories, so there's a ground
Right.
level, and then the first.
I'll with my light, I'll peek inside, see if I can spot anything interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sausage in hand, unsnap the gun belt, the gun.
You could give everybody a sausage, so everybody could hold their sausage.
I'm not
as
touching
you
your
enter.
sausage.
It's not technically his. You can have it.
True.
It's the innkeeper's.
Possession is 9/10 of the law.
The interior of this place is really deteriorated. There's a sagging wooden ceiling above you. The plaster walls are all crumbling. There's a staircase on the west wall that leads up to the second floor. Windows are on the north and south walls, as I had mentioned. There's a fireplace over on the eastern wall with a doorway. Again, no door that kind of leads off into a kitchen. You see rotted furniture that's scattered across the floor. There's also a large hole in the ceiling, matching the hole in the roof, that would probably let daylight in during the day. You do see the dog prints, both inside and outside of the cottage. And you asked about clawed markings, is that right?
Yeah. I was looking to see any tracks either along the approach to that open door or the door frame or the walls or anywhere really.
You see an interesting set of tracks, prints. They look like maybe 3-pronged nipper-like prints that would be attached to a bulbous foot. I'll accept natural rolls from people if they want to offer that.
Look at it, Doctor. Look at this. What do you make of that?
Well, what is it? I don't know.
Success.
Looks like a track.
10 out of 10.
Not from any known animal. It, in fact, resembles more closely a massive crustacean.
Oh, hard success.
Hard success.
Same thing, yeah.
What is it?
Are you getting the same thing I am, Doctor? That this is not, in fact, a dog?
How big is this thing again? It's rather large, or
yeah.
It appears to be some sort of giant crab that's crawled out from that hole.
I definitely unbuckle the cover on my holster.
Yeah, that's what happens when you fist the bushes. The crabs come.
It's definitely not a lobster.
Crab of this size. Can you imagine the bisque?
Does it look mutated, unusual, other than being large? Is it just really freakish looking, or is it?
I mean, it's just the footprint. Yeah, there's nothing super. I mean, it's abnormal. Why would something like that be this far inland, and why would it be inside this house in some way?
Labrador-sized crab, or is it like?
We've obviously entered the home of the local fishwife.
Well, it's digging under the tree too. It comes out at night and it digs under the tree. An enormous crab.
A pet crab. It's probably a pet crab. She has a pet crab.
We're in this Foulness Island in the middle of nowhere. Some strange crustacean comes up and picks out bugs from beneath the tree. This case has got to be closed.
Is it dead? Is it dead?
It's not quite dead yet.
Oh, you actually see the crab?
No, I'm joking.
Oh.
There's no actual crab. These are just the tracks.
The tracks of a giant crab. I got confused.
Where do the tracks lead?
Just around the house, around the first floor.
Start looking around with my pen light. I got a good spot hidden.
You don't see much anything. You do notice that there appears to be kind of like some straw and some old nasty blankets that are pulled underneath the staircase. The staircase, by the way, is really like badly damaged going up to the second floor.
So probably not safe to climb.
I mean, you could try, but it would be challenging to climb it.
Are there crab prints on the staircase?
No.
Something was it like the crab was nesting under the stairs?
Yeah, what's the relation to the dog prints, though?
Yeah, that's where the dog prints lead, and it smells pretty heavily of dog.
Do you smell that? It smells like a wet dog down here.
You can smell like dog urine in the area and stuff like that.
No, it's marked its territory.
Are there dog prints and crab prints here?
Yes.
Are you on the main floor, or where are they?
The dog prints go in multiple directions. They go all over the first floor.
First floor.
They also go up the stairwell too.
Well, obviously, a dog and a crab decided to go habitate.
Yes, Doctor. I was thinking the same thing.
It's not that unusual.
Yes, Doctor.
There's nothing unusual about that at all.
Well, it's not really my area of expertise to say one way or the other, but
Chantel said
Crabrador. I say. And no sign of them about. Any sign of them exiting the house in some direction?
It's hard to tell. Once it's inside the house, it's just kind of a mess.
So it smells like dog pee, and there's a crab tracks and dog tracks.
Yep.
Okay.
You
Anything
can try
else?
to go upstairs if you wanted to.
How rickety are the stairs? How rickety do they look? They're gonna
Pretty
collapse?
rickety.
They look collapsible.
I will tell you, they will require a hard climb roll to ascend. And falling would hurt.
Crab dig under a noose every night, so much so that he would, or she, depending on the crab's personal proclivity, would create a legend of a dark spirit that nightly goes from the shack to the tree. It's like, why would a crab go there? Why would a crab cohabitate with a dog?
Have you lost
Doesn't
your
make any sense.
blooming mind? What's wrong with you? Snap out of it. It's obviously a large crab. Look, help me get upstairs.
All right, very well.
Oh my God, that's one of my favorite things tonight. Just this really serious military guy trying to get into the psychological workings of a crab person and why they would cohabitate with a dog. That's perfect. Perfect.
Love, true love.
Do any of you have any gear that would be helpful to you ascending these stairs?
Yes, I hand Frank a sausage in case you run with the dog. This could come in handy, or the crab, perhaps.
At least
He asks you to take his. He asks you to take
Now that
his
you have greasy
sausage in hand.
Ooh, no.
Is there,
I got nothing.
is there anything I could wrap a belt around? I mean, obviously I've got my, my belt on and whatever. Just
Yeah.
try to, yeah.
Yeah, I think I will give you one bonus die to it. So you can take a hard climb roll with one bonus die. Damn.
Well, all right. Let's see. Ooh. All right.
And
Yeah, there we go.
I think that
All
whole
right.
I think that
That's-
whole idea of Dan's character saying that really symbolizes British intelligence,
Yeah.
like the intelligence agencies.
I'm gonna.
Yes. I will second that.
All right,
Especially
well,
during this time frame.
I just want to say the
It
theme
must be
song,
the
Yeah,
beggars and
yeah.
mash, I say.
the theme song to the X-Files is playing in my head right now, just because.
The second floor that you are able to ascend to has crumbling walls, unstable floorboards. There's some rotting furniture up here. There's a short corridor that runs along the north wall that has a couple of broken windows, a couple bedrooms. There's also a large hole in the first bedroom's floor that matches the one in the roof, and obviously the one that was in the ceiling. But how far are you willing to go examine this?
So I'm gonna take my time, kind of place like trading off between placing, shine the light where I place my feet, making sure I'm steady and shining my light forward as I go. Probably not safe to try to drag them up here as well.
Frank, or I won't say anything out loud, but I'm an expert, like really good at first aid. I'm going to be ready, right? Just in case someone comes through a floor, I'm ready with my first aid. I'm just going to say that.
What's fallen through the roof?
All right.
There are no trees nearby that would have caused this hole, right?
Yeah, there are some trees.
There are.
Yeah.
Well, was there
Also, just rotting time, like
yeah.
over time, it rotting and falling apart.
But through the roof that matches the hole in the floor, I shine the light down into that hole, trying not to lean too far into it. But does it look like something fell through the roof, smashed through the floor, like a?
It looks like that, yeah. But there's nothing down there.
What's a rough
Just
shape?
like some
What's a
broken
rough-
floorboards. Kind of spherical.
You're not gonna believe this, but I think something bloody well fell through the roof.
I need you to make a luck roll, please.
And I fall and die.
Oh.
Mm-mm.
A failed luck roll.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
So, what was
You're
the last thing you said?
I think something bloody well fell through the.
Something spherical.
Yeah, and then you come falling through the floor as it collapses underneath you.
I come
Bleeding
roll
Christ on a pancake! I've fallen!
Roll
I can't get
1d6.
up.
That's no reason to blaspheme.
You're all calm. Have a
Can I use
G.
my held action to like first aid him before he even realizes he's hurt?
Not yet.
No.
Okay.
No.
Have a crouton of Christ. A 1.
Okay, you take 1 damage from the fall.
Oh.
There were some leaves and stuff that kind of broke your fall. Well, actually, probably one of the old couch broke your fall and just cracks down to the ground.
And I come running up like with like toilet paper and Q-tips and like, oh my god.
I've dropped my flashlight. Something fell through the roof. I think
Yeah,
it
it was
came
you.
over. No, look. Now that we're here, he can see up. That hole.
I will not be distracted. Can I make my first aid roll?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Yes, you get your point back.
Yay!
Ooh,
I
extreme
thought
success.
Oh, I didn't even realize I was
Still 1
bleeding.
point.
Thank you. Thank you.
You
And
are-
I also darned the hole in your sock from where it hit your-
Excellent. Excellent. The theme of this is how many holes can we go through in one night?
Yes, and military British foot care. I'm an expert.
Yeah. Oh, yes, of course.
No trench foot here.
Captain, look. It's as
Yeah,
if
look at
something
the
came
hole.
through the
Trench
roof.
Give me a listen roll, guys.
Oh God, I'm terrible.
Everybody
Kind
or
of like
just
in the, yeah, you're
There's
all kind of like in the living room trying to like help him out and stuff.
Alright.
Just give me a listen.
No, I'm still in the doorway. Just
Oh, okay.
because I was
Perfect.
like, I am.
Perfect.
Do you want me to roll too, or
I do.
You're a villain.
listen?
Are you looking inside or outside?
I was. I mean, I would imagine I turned around to look inside once
Yeah,
it
when
fell,
that
but I
happened,
was
that loud
looking
noise.
outside.
Yeah, that's fine.
Mm.
Look at all these failures I'm listening.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We're all yelling.
Hey!
Damn!
By 6.
Way to go, Vicar!
Yeah.
Perfect. You hear a low growl
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
from outside.
Mm.
Yeah, I slowly start backing my way into the towards
Did he
everybody.
say anything or?
Yeah, there's something outside.
Well, I shot my flashlight over there real
I
quick.
got my
I
cane,
grabbed my
like,
You
sausage.
guys watch
Got
as
my-
you grab your
my
sausage.
cane's pointing out like, I was like,
Every man's reaction to fear. Grab your sausage. All right.
I've got my 38. I don't know about these guys. I got my 38
Yeah.
revolver.
He likes
He,
to call it
you-
sausage.
You watch as the Reverend starts backing up from the front door, and at the same pace at which the father is backing up from the door, you see a German Shepherd that is heavily matted and dirty, dark colored, with foam coming out of its mouth, start walking towards, at the same rate of speed, towards Thorg with his head down low, growling and his teeth bared. What I need from you all is your dexterity score plus 50 if you're wielding a firearm.
I'm gonna try to like
Exterior score plus 50.
you said
If
German
you're holding a
Shepherd,
firearm.
right?
Yep.
I'm gonna actually like try to say the a heal command in German.
Yep. We'll get there.
103.
What did you say? This is for people with guns, right?
115.
Uh, How do you? I forgot on this one. How do you add the plus? Or just,
You just tell me. You don't have to.
oh, I just tell you.
Yeah.
Just
Your
roll it.
dexterity plus 50. Oh, you don't have to roll anything.
Oh, my
It's
dexterity
just-
plus 50. Oh, you're.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Order. Sorry.
Yeah. Yep. So that's 100 for you. Are you wielding a gun?
Yeah. I'm 100.
And what are you, Frank?
103.
Okay. Give me a second here. Good. And Thor, what's your dexterity score? Because I don't think you're carrying a gun, are you?
No, it's all I have is a walking stick or a cane or whatever. Yeah.
Mhm.
You want Dex?
Yeah. What is your dex score?
You mean to roll it or just tell you?
No,
it's
just tell me the score.
50.
50. Okay.
Right? Yes. Yeah. 50.
Dan, what do you do?
Do I have a clear line of sight to the dog?
You do.
And it's growling. It's like sounding ferocious and vicious and such.
Yeah, it's moving, but it's moving slowly, bearing its fangs. It does look like it's going to attack the Reverend.
I drop the sausage, thus not needing to take an action in order to hold it, and I take out the 38, bam, and try and shoot.
Are you first before you do that? Are you shooting once, twice, or thrice?
I shall fire.
Well, do you have a revolver or a
revolver?
automatic?
I have 38 revolver.
Okay, so once, twice, or thrice.
I will shoot 3 times.
3 times. Okay, so the flashlight's laying on the floor. You'll only be able to get at most 2 shots off because each one gets you're getting a penalty die because of the darkness of the
Mhm.
area.
This is how
you
the
can.
baker died.
However, just so you're aware, if you wanted to move within a fifth of your dexterity towards the dog, you would negate that penalty die. So that's
All
up
right,
to you
I'll
if
do
you want to
that.
move closer.
I'll
Okay.
do that.
So that negates the penalty die. You can fire 3 times. The first time you're going to fire like normal. The second time we'll have a penalty die, and the third time we'll have 2 penalty die.
All right. Frank is he's getting his foot mended when you see that the captain moves with, like, as if it was rote behavior, flips his head around, grabs his pistol, and moves towards the door and begins to fire, as if it's a Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm shining my
you want me to
flashlight
roll
there to try to.
handgun.
Yes.
Ooh.
Ooh, failure.
Okay, you're fine. So the first shot misses.
Yes.
Your next shot is with 1 penalty die.
So how do I do that? I just say click on the penalty here.
You first of all, nope. You just roll another shot,
Failure.
and so that you can't fumble on that, so you're good. We don't need to roll the other penalty die. And now this next one, you're going to roll again.
Failure.
Okay, and so you can't fumble. So all 3 miss. Basically, that consecutive. That would have been good on the last one, huh?
Yeah, my mouse is a little like weird. It's like
But yeah, so that represents the kickback from your gun as you're shooting multiples in a row.
I'll just offer the blam 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 might scare the dog. I'll just put that out there, but that's
Yeah, I think it would scare a normal dog for sure. This is a normal dog, but it's a rabid dog, so it's a little less.
Great for my tinnitus. You jerk.
It's a little less
Yeah.
hospitable to run
sausage
away.
in your ear.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, okay.
All right, so
All right. So next up, I'm going to have Frank.
So I think Frank is there, still prone from having fallen. He's just recovered his flashlight, and he was kind of observing as the captain peels off of him and just starts firing. I honestly don't think that he would react so quickly. So he's going to draw his weapon and aim. So
Okay.
trying to figure out what's being shot at. Like, are we shooting at people? What's going on? He sees the dog, and he's like, "Oh, bloody hell, that thing's rabid! Watch out!" As I see the slime kind of falling from its mouth. But yeah, I'm just going to try to take aim at it.
Okay, so this round you're aiming. That
Yep.
works. That'll give you a bonus die at
Yep.
the next one and negate a penalty.
Okay.
All right, good. So next up we have Edward.
I'm just gonna shoot. Nothing fancy.
All right. Now, are you shooting once, twice, or thrice?
Twice.
Okay. So are you moving within a fifth of your dexterity in terms of closeness?
Closer to the animal?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, why the hell not?
Okay. So your first roll is normal. So go ahead and give me a handgun roll.
Oh,
And make sure you guys note how many bullets you're using. Okay.
that's okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So that was a fail. Go ahead and roll your next one.
Also a fail.
Okay.
No.
I do need you to roll a penalty die because you could fumble here.
It's a displacer beast.
Okay, so nope, you're fine. Good. And then your third one,
Displacer.
go ahead. Go ahead and roll again.
Roll the gun again?
You're shooting 3 times, right?
I shot twice.
Oh, did you say twice?
I
I'm
shot
sorry.
twice and moved.
My bad. Yep, you're good. Okay. Okay, next up is going to be the dog. The dog leaps at the good father with intention of destroying him. Let me go ahead and move this onto a different window pane. Here we go.
At least his intentions are clear.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What starts with duh and ends in lodge.
Before I tell you if that was a success or not, you have the opportunity, Father, and you're muted, to either dodge, do nothing, or fight back.
Dodge.
Okay, go ahead and roll your dodge. You will need a hard success on that dodge. There it is. You sidestep this dog quite easily. Very
The
good.
Lord provides.
And now it's your turn, Reverend.
I'm gonna continue to try to put distance between me. I'll use my keep my walking stick or my cane in front of me. Walking cane.
Okay.
What? You're not going to grapple the dog?
Grapple.
Nah. And I'm gonna belt out like the Sitzen.
Okay.
What because it's German Shepherd. I'm trying to get German commands to get it.
So I just want to be clear.
Oh, I'm well aware.
The Reverend is shouting in German at the dog.
I know. I was going to say.
I just want to
make notes.
Well, I didn't think it would be French. It's not a French poodle.
Let's see. Why don't you give me
knock music?
Give me a natural world roll, and I'd like you to do it with 1 penalty die, please. Or a charm roll with a penalty die.
It'd be under N. Or a charm. I will roll a charm.
Okay. Unfortunately, you do not succeed unless you spend 5 luck.
Nah, I don't think so.
All right, fair game. Dan,
Yes.
Man,
who's more of a threat to you right now, the guy yelling in German or the dog? That is German.
It's not good German, but
Probably
it's
the dog.
German.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut the Nazi a little slack here and go for the dog.
The Nazi.
You're like, I did not see that.
You've all been doing that lately.
I will judge one of you when you speak in French.
What do you do, Dan?
Oh, I'm up. I'm sorry. All right. I will attempt to shoot the dog again.
Once, twice, or thrice?
I will empty my gun.
Okay, is that 3 more bullets?
That's 3 more bullets, yes.
Okay, great. Go ahead and roll the first one.
7, extreme success.
That's incredible. All right. I would like you to go ahead and roll your damage on that. So here's how it works. Piercing, when you get an extreme, is you're going to do your maximum damage first. So what is the max damage on your gun?
10.
Okay. And then you're going to roll your damage.
Okay. 2.
Okay, so you do 12 points of damage with the first shot. And I'd like you to tell me how you killed this dog.
I am just aiming for the body of the dog, and I'm hoping that the 38 is enough to like unbalance it, at least slow it down, throw it off its tracks, because I know it's going after the Reverend / Nazi. So if I don't take it down, I'm hoping to knock it over.
Okay, yeah, you definitely take it down, and it is just like gasping for air before it goes limp. You see now that it has a collar on and a little tag underneath the collar that kind of just jingles against the wood of the floor.
All right, it definitely seems like, all right, I will I don't know, you guys, it's pretty dark, you guys probably can't see it. I pull up my stiletto and I make sure it's dead.
Oh no,
Yes.
we see it because I'm shining the flashlight on you the whole time.
Yeah, now you picked it back up. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, you are able to put it out of its misery.
Okay. I look at is Reverend
Nice.
running, or is Reverend still there?
You're muted.
Muted.
After it tried to, I sidestepped it. I basically just backed up into a wall. I mean,
Okay. Reverend, are you all right?
yeah, I don't think it bit me.
Could I ask you about that German you spoke when you got scared?
It's the command to sit. That's what German Shepherd. I mean, you've
All right,
been in
duly
the
noted.
war, right?
I take out my little notebook.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a look at its collar.
Because
German-
no one else.
You
Because
take a
no
look
one,
at his collar, right?
no one else outside of Germany
I'll
speaks
collar
German
the priest.
or
you collar the
French
dog.
or Latin.
Balderdash, German shepherds aren't born speaking German.
That's right.
Ugh.
What
You tell
language
Doctor.
do they
How
speak
dare you
when they're
speak the
born?
tongue of the
Doctor?
Protestants?
Yeah, the Protestants.
Or as I like to say, the Protestants.
All right. So you've got a dead dog here.
Yep.
Frank was looking
We'll
at the
take a
collar,
look at
I
the
think.
collar.
The collar.
Yeah.
The collar just says Jed.
Hey, you shot Jed. Good job, Captain.
Definitely not.
Is it? I take a closer look at its mouth. Could it just be a foamy dog mouth, or is it probably rabid?
like rabies?
It's well, I mean, you don't have the science to figure it out, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this
Yeah.
out. It's clearly rabies. It's clearly a rabid dog.
Ah,
Rabid
poor
dog.
sod. Poor
Nice.
sod.
I have a theory.
Yes, Doctor.
The dog was digging underneath the tree and was bitten bitten by a rabid squirrel.
Well, you're lucky you didn't get bitten in the fist, then, aren't you? God.
Intriguing.
That would. I mean, it takes a little longer than that, doesn't it? I don't know.
That's an intriguing theory, I say as I pick up my sausage off the floor.
That long?
I can't believe you're gonna eat it. You're gonna eat a dirty sausage.
Sweet Mother Mary.
The collar, anything? Is it just a leather collar, Tim?
Yeah,
okay.
it looks like it's a pretty worn leather collar. Like it's been.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's in good state. Like it could have fallen off if it snagged something, you know.
Victor, Doctor, Frank, riddle me this. A rabid dog spending night after night digging under this tree back to here and shacking up with a bipedal crustacean of enormous size?
Well, we don't know the crustaceans bipedal, do we?
What are you talking about?
It does appear to be
crustacean.
Like, that's right.
Oh,
In
yeah.
fact, though,
Yes.
it could have multiples because there are a lot of tracks, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Obviously, the crab contracted rabies too, causing it to stand on its hind legs.
He's a doctor. I mean, he's not a medical doctor, but that's the most sensible thing I've heard in a bit. So
Rabid crab man.
There's no such thing as crabman. It's just a crab. It caught rabies from the dog, and it
Does
got.
take a look at that bed again. Does the bed look like there's two people sleeping in it?
What?
Or just one?
It looks like
a dog and a crustacean man, or just
It looks like it's only like if for the crustacean to be the size, because you got an extreme roll on that. For like for the crustacean to be the size that would leave these prints, there's no way both could fit in this area where the blankets are. It looks like it was made for the dog. Like the dog kind of. This was its home that you guys just really went into and shot and killed it.
Okay. Did the crustacean have?
Sorry, PETA.
I mean, rabies is fatal. I mean, it's yeah.
Will the crustacean man show up looking for his dog?
What are you guys talking about?
I have look. The crap. He's pointing at that. He says it. I think he's going bloody well loony, but he says it's.
You guys have gone to see too many cinema movies or something,
right?
Look, I don't believe in folklore, but I believe in tracks. And those are bipedal crustacean tracks.
Bipedal
of enormous magnitude.
Tracks.
Bipedal crustaceans. Man, you are drunk. How much did you have at that?
We did.
bar?
We finished a fifth. So
Oh,
yeah.
for Christ.
I did see there was another one there, though. If you're hinting that we should go back.
Can we go back to
Yeah, you guys are starting to get pretty tired.
bed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's
Obviously.
We could come have a look
Obviously.
around here. No one apparently goes here, so I mean, we could come have a look around here when it's daylight because
I agree.
It might
like
be a bit
the-
safer. There might be more dogs about.
The
yeah.
only acceptable German word in our company is schnapps. Let's go.
You guys eventually, by whatever means, eventually fall asleep. And what time do you guys typically wake up?
When does the schnapps wear off?
Yeah, I'd say probably not very early. Yeah.
So they're all like sleeping in until like 9 or 10. And apparently, I'm up at like 5.
Oh, okay.
Usually about 4 because I think that's when they do their first. I'm not Catholic, so or Anglican, so I'm guessing about 4-ish. I think is one of the first communions or something like that.
Sure. Yeah, you wake up early and are doing your thing, and you hear somebody set something in front of your door. Maybe it's a bill or something, but they set something in front of your door and walk away. It doesn't sound like they're trying to be like sneaky, right? It just sounds like maybe it's somebody who works here leaving something.
Want pins for pillow?
Amazon theft. Wow.
I'll go check to see what it is.
Outside your door and outside of everyone's
Dead
door.
dog's head.
When you wake up and finally look, you see all players, please save. Show to players.
Ooh.
And you can zoom in. That's the front and back of a card.
I can't. Oh,
Who this make?
Dios mío. I can't see.
You can always click the magnifying glass.
there we
It's becoming
there we go.
increasingly rare that folk visit our small, simple island. And as Lord of the Manor, I very much enjoy meeting anyone new here. I would like to make it an open invitation for you to visit myself at Culvert House. It is located to south of Church End, and any villager, can point the way or escort you here. T. Culvert Esquire.
Well, how pleasant.
And about that time, for you, Reverend, it's probably getting close to about 6 a.m. Okay, and you hear a commotion coming from outside near the church. And that is where we are going to end today.
Is that my side of the house, or is that
no?
so I would be able to see from the window?
I will do a luck roll for me.
Yeah.
We'll just bank that for next time.
Oh! He ends
There you
with
go.
extreme success.
There you go.
Getting on a
In fact,
high
you have a great
point.
view of it. You get a great view of it.
You can describe it next week.
I will describe it next week. All right. So if after this, if any of you want to just take a note or two about what happened today, I'll have you reprise it next time. Who wants to do that?
Dan, I'm volunteering you. You're so eloquent.
You mean to sum up now? Or
Yeah,
to write
no,
down?
next time. Next time. You've got
Yeah,
the recap.
summarize at the beginning of next session.
Oh,
okay?
I'm terrible at that.
I'll send you the AI transcript. You'll have the whole thing.
Everyone who's watching, please remember we will be back on April Fool's Day, and that's no joke. Please come back. We will be live at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's 8:30 p.m. Eastern and 5:30 p.m. Pacific. I hope you'll all come back and join us for hopefully the conclusion. Might go over into 3, but we will see. This is a great group of role players. So.
We know how Dan operates. This will be 2 or 3.
Garett, Tommie, and Dan, let's put it together for
Yeah, good
Tim.
job,
Thank
guys.
you.
Good
Very
job
well
to you
done.
guys.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
Timmy.
We have been Myth Brigade. Good night.